Welcome in to a Tuesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, live here, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet on what is expected to be a Tornadic Tuesday.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I got my money on no rain.
Same.
No rain.
Every time.
It'll be a beautiful day. Get your tea times. Get outside.
Ride your bike.
Yeah, enjoy the day outside.
Storm,
as soon as school was called off by the Catholic Diocese yesterday, or actually, they gave them a half a day so they wouldn't have to bring them back later in the year to make the day up and steal a summer day away from the school and the leaders who just look for excuses. I mean, the amount of people that came up to me last night were like, is your kid off of school? He's got to go till 11:30 so they don't have to make the day up. You know, kind of the scam within the scam.
It's not just the Catholic.
I'm not
Diocese.
sending Jay in.
No, hell no.
No way, bro. No way. Not pandering down to these dumbass rules that they now exist in teaching our kids. I mean, how many times do you have to find excuses on not to do your job? I mean, it is amazing.
Okay, we're going to feel bad, though, if a huge tornado comes through.
It better. I mean, at this point, they're due. When's the last time they gave them off and anything ever happened?
I mean, never.
I mean, I've heard of snow. I've heard of hurricanes. I've heard of rain. I've heard of lightning.
Coronavirus. Y'all remember that?
I mean...
Oh, gosh.
Bro. They're playing 5-on-5 in my driveway all day today.
No doubt.
It's ridiculous, man. Welcome into a Tuesday edition of the Jordy
What
Culotta
a way
Show.
to start the day.
Absolutely.
Everybody's off, though, right?
Yes.
LSU,
Yeah.
12:30.
Yeah,
Public
it's not
schools.
just the Catholics, I
Yeah,
promise.
no, I hear you. So today's show, we're jam-packed. Jeff Duncan going to stop by, NOLA.com, Times-Picayune. Is he'll be here talking New Orleans Saints. Saints ink a deal with Jameis Winston, bringing him back on a 3-year deal, 2 years, as far as on the books with a team option in that third season. And then really looking forward to talking to Kyren Lacy, who is the LSU wide receiver who transferred over from UL in the offseason, standout from Thibodeau coming out of high school. We'll ask him about now going into LSU spring football. Brian Kelly supposed to meet with the press today. They moved that back until tomorrow. In fact, our NIL discussion and chat that we were going to have on campus today was actually moved a week from today. So if you have tickets, those tickets will still be eligible to get you in to the event next Tuesday at the Lod Cook Alumni and Hotel Center on campus at LSU, where we'll all be having the same panel, the executives from Walk On and Mackenzie Landry, Crystal Faircloth, Lance Duron, and then Lance Burgess from LSU Sports Properties and Taylor Jacobs, who handles LSU's NIL stuff on campus.
Can anyone attend?
Yes, tickets are open.
Okay.
Stewie, if you want to put that link out, that link is still live for tickets to be purchased at next week's event. So if you were planning on coming around LSU today, please make note that name, image, and likeness panel scheduled for today has been postponed for 1 week. I know that there was a lot of people coming in from surrounding areas around Baton Rouge. So if you had plans to make the trip in, please note that event has been moved to 1 week from today. Make sure you give us a like and share to start your day here with us. But in all seriousness, if some weather does come through here, make sure everybody stays safe out there.
I know this guy, Hunter Fournette, said they were in school and a tornado passed by and a shingle smoked a kid in the side of the head.
Oh.
Well, I mean, for God's sakes, put him inside.
How did that happen?
I mean, do you have to do everything these days, man? I mean, even when they're at school and there's a tornado coming through, don't let them run around on the playground.
It's recess.
I mean,
What do you want him to do?
sheesh.
I mean, we had to get in the hallway and do this. Do y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
get under the
drills?
desk.
Yeah.
Get under the desk. How many times were you under the desk,
A
whether it
lot.
was a drill or whether it was for real? I mean, but it was still, all right, get back out from under your desk, pull out your books. It's
Math time.
I mean, it's math time. The day rolls on.
Sorry, kid.
It's just like, yeah, I mean,
Hey, call Steel Henry.
it's unbelievable.
Fix that
man.
roof.
Exactly. They needed steel.
Big day for Steel, I
It
bet.
is going to
Huge
be a big
day.
day
He
for
loves the
steel.
weather.
Huge day for steel. Yeah, this is a moneymaker.
Moneymaker
It
day.
It better be.
Everybody else is cowering
Yeah, I
in the
mean,
closet.
better be.
Yeah.
For God's
Or
sakes,
what are we
it
gonna
better
do?
be,
Like,
man.
pull them from school.
Yeah. Homeschool this
We're
kid.
moving schools, protecting our kids from weather. Y'all thinking?
Shingles.
Hunter
The only
Fournette said he
shingles
had to
I got
go.
were
He
the
had to go to the
disease.
bathroom, and that was 12 years ago. I mean, Hunter, what school is this? They have to when they go to the bathroom. Was it an outhouse? Is there not a facility within the halls?
Sounds
Maybe
like this
had
kid
to go
might.
between
It
buildings.
sounds like this kid might have been up to something.
Maybe.
Yeah,
He just made up his own story.
our type of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got hit by the shingle in the back of the head
Why are you outside? I was going to the
because I
bathroom.
was smoking
Why-
cigarettes. What do you think I was doing?
2 for $1.
Right. It's not even 10 a.m. yet. I've already burned 3 in the bathroom.
Me and Mr. Smith are outside.
Hit that like button, share button daily. We're driven and powered by Ghost Chevrolet, GEAUX Chevrolet.com. Probably a good day to buy a car online if everybody's staying home from work and school.
Definitely.
Shop them online. You can get the entire inventory there. In fact, Go Express Auto Sales has a wide selection of used cars right now on the lot on the corner of Florida Boulevard and Sherwood Forest. Whoa,
They're
Whoa.
panicking today.
it's a little different sound.
No, I just turned it up a little
For
bit too loud.
hail. If there's
Hail.
hail, they are
Oh,
panic
hail.
mode.
Hail.
Oh,
Gosh.
hail no.
Hail.
So they're talking about hail coming through.
Yes.
No
It's
chance.
not cool. Not cool.
No way.
Depends on how big it is.
What?
Depends on what.
Hail.
Oh,
If it
how
sucks
big
or
it
not?
is.
Yeah.
No,
it's
I
just
think all
like a
hail
little-
sucks.
But if it's big
Even
hail.
the Tic Tac hail
Well, they always
sucks.
love to compare it to like, oh, it's golf ball sized hail.
Yeah,
It's
they do
softball
love
sized
that.
hail. It's I love hail watch.
All right, we got a lot to get to here. The kids
LSU
are
hired
not
somebody.
in school. Kyron Lacy's going to be in studio. It's Tiger Trivia Tuesday.
It is that.
Stewie still looks faded from Saturday as he's still wondering how he got home.
Look,
Any word on that? Any answers on that? No.
had a message yesterday on Instagram, like a request,
Yeah.
and it was like, "Hey, did you make it home Saturday?" And I was like,
Thanks for checking on
Right,
Monday.
I
Okay.
was like, I don't know who you are,
Yeah.
but I
Nice
did
to
make
meet
it
you.
home.
And
Did
thanks
you
for the
bring me
pizza.
home?
Yeah, Stewie bought him like $60 worth of zippies. He goes, I didn't get $60 worth of zippies.
I didn't get any zippies. I didn't get $1 worth of zippies.
What a
Somebody
night.
did.
What a night.
What a night.
What a night.
It's 6:30 in the afternoon. We're calling it night.
LSU women's basketball season comes to a halt last night.
Yeah, that was rough. Didn't
Pretty
know
cool
what.
press conference last night with Mulkey and a couple of her players wrapping up the season as you got an idea of just how cool this run has been for the players and even for Coach Mulkey. You could hear in her voice how special of a season it was for the LSU ladies who Ohio State was, man, that was an impressive basketball team. They just kind of
It
shoved
was.
LSU around. They did
Lord.
every time LSU was trying to make a run and close the gap on that game, Ohio State had an answer every single time. They hit big shot after big shot and just could not, LSU could not. They couldn't change the difference, man. And credit Ohio State for the way that they played yesterday and LSU's season, the magical run, really, man. What a season for Kim Mulkey and how exciting of a future does LSU women's basketball look like it is under and about to head into really a stratosphere that looks like it could be a decade worth of wins and tournaments and hopefully championships because Coach Mulkey has got that. Looks like she's got a lot of her motivation back after year one at LSU. So credit to the ladies and credit to the program. A very exciting future. At that game last night, they introduced LSU's new head men's basketball coach, or didn't introduce him. He was there for opening night, for his first night.
That was cool.
As LSU's head coach, Matt McMahon. And McMahon is now officially LSU's coach after 7 seasons at Murray State. And we'll break it all down coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, daily, we're brought to you by True Blue Water, TRUBluewater.com, to get on the delivery route today. Majestic Coffee every single day. And our friends over at Metropolitan Health Group open up our phone lines, and it'll be a very active phone line. Jeff Duncan, less than an hour from now, talking New Orleans Saints. And we will talk to Stacy Hollowell, who his Loyola Wolfpack team is in the national championship tonight they are advancing to the semifinals for the first time since 1946 as the top seed NAIA semifinals with a big win over the weekend. As Coach Hollowell will be here in the second hour as well, giving us a breakdown on their run for a natty as the Wolfpack plays for it. And then Kyren Lacy will be in studio. But McMahon, let's get to it. My guy Daniel Newman yesterday. Newman hits me with text all day. Looks like the McMahon stuff's going to happen.
He's so
it was
excited.
It was unbelievable. It was like he was home alone, had the towel laid out, brought the bottle of Jergens out, just kind of like
Always excited.
just a wild day of taking in basketball information.
I don't know that.
Wait,
It's like a porn. It's like
let's say, do you not
watching
get what
porn
he
for him.
I get it. It's weird.
Yeah, right.
It's a weird visual.
Yeah, your financial advisor crunching numbers.
I don't want
Right?
Crunching
to.
more than numbers.
Yes.
Sorry, Daniel.
Don't apologize,
Now I'm
Danny.
thinking
Strong
about
hands,
Don't apologize, Danny.
Soft hands.
strong wrist.
Stop,
Huge
y'all.
forearms.
He loves the motion offense and the movement
Oh my
that
God,
Matt McMahon.
stop.
I'm serious. That Matt McMahon's offense runs. A lot of the stuff that we talked about with LSU throughout the last couple of years, stagnant in the half court, right? A lot of standing around. If they're not creating offense from their turnovers on defense or their steals like they were this year, they led the nation in steals, led the conference in steals. They were on pace to set a school record in steals. This is much more of a very disciplined half court, lot of movement, lot of screen, lot of cutting, a lot of passing to get you open basketball. And if you've watched LSU over the last couple of years, you have probably screamed out loud or thrown something at your TV begging for LSU to move in the half court, or at least just get some type of open shot off of passing or cutting or screening somebody to get open. McMahon is impressive in the stuff that he runs, in the style that he coaches his group. It's a very disciplined, very tough brand of basketball to defend when played correctly. And from my point of view, I think that Matt McMahon is as solid and as buttoned up and as clean of a head coach as you can find. In fact, you could see in Scott Woodward's statement that he put out last night, and nothing officially from a press conference standpoint has been announced, but you'd imagine over the next couple of days, Brian Kelly's going to meet with the press to announce what's going on in spring football. He'll probably work the Matt McMahon press conference somewhere around there to introduce the next head coach at LSU. The 25th head coach in LSU basketball history is Matt McMahon. But Scott Woodward said yesterday in a statement that they put out on social media and LSUsports.net, Matt is exactly what we're looking for. His vision of our program and his values as a leader align perfectly with ours as an institution, and he has a proven track record of identifying talent, developing student athletes, and building championship basketball programs. So you can see the emphasis that Woodward was trying to make or put on in making this hire was not only trying to find somebody who could coach the team and coach the game and put together a program, but he was looking for a good representative, right? He wanted somebody that comes in with a good reputation, or somebody that, is not perceived to be Will Wade, really, for, all intents and purposes. My initial concern of a guy like McMahon, and look, McMahon's got some Will Wade ties. His top assistant, or one of his assistants, is Casey Long. Casey Long served on Wade's staff at VCU for 2 seasons in 2015 and 2017. He also played for Wade at Tennessee Chattanooga. Wade was pretty he was pretty big in getting him that job. I know that Wade and McMahon have a relationship, and from Wade's point of view, respects McMahon a ton. He's also got 2 assistants, does McMahon, on Murray State's bench that have Will Wade ties. Both of them played for Wade. Casey Long is the guy that I believe he's going to take down here to Baton Rouge with him. So there is some familiarity of Wade, LSU basketball, and McMahon and his staff.
I didn't know he almost coached for Tech, too.
Louisiana Tech. He was the associate coach over at Louisiana Tech, was Matt McMahon.
Yeah, that's cool.
Here's my biggest concern about McMahon stepping into LSU. Does he know basketball? Inevitably. Undoubtedly. Watch his teams play. They are very well disciplined. They run really good offense. They run good action to get themselves open. They take good shots. I mean, Murray State was 31-3 this year. It's tough to do in any league at any level in that sport, to play that steady and that good all through the season. Now they got sniped by Cinderella in the round of 32, and now they're home, and McMahon has officially moved on after 7 seasons. But when you look at McMahon's resume, played at Appalachian State, assistant coach at Murray State, moved on to Louisiana Tech as a coach in waiting, head coach in waiting, and then gets the Murray State head coaching job. It's a really good basketball resume. Been successful everywhere he's been. But not one of those stops is a Power 5 job. Here he is going to cut his teeth at LSU in his first Power 5 job. Is it impossible? Hell no. Can he do it? Absolutely. Does it give you concern that this is the first time he's going to try? It does for me. And the biggest concern I have about it is because not to doubt him and think that he can't, learn it, understand it, and he gets basketball. It's not like it's just some foreign language to him. It's just a step up in class. It's a different living room that you're sitting in and recruiting. It's a different evaluation of players. Look, I know that Ja Morant ended up at Murray State, and Ja Morant's probably going to be the face of the NBA in the next 2 to 3 years, and probably will be that for a decade. Guy's a special player. Was the second pick out of Murray State, but the way that Ja Morant found Murray State and the way that Murray State found Ja Morant is almost a movie. I mean, assistant coach going to a vending machine at an AAU basketball gym, hears a ball beaten on the ground in the other room, moves over there, and the next thing you know, he's looking at a lottery pick. That stuff just doesn't happen. I mean, that's a Powerball type stuff in a college basketball assistant coaching world. Ja Morant's not showing up to Murray State's campus every single day. But he did. He was developed. He was the number 2 overall pick in the draft, and now he's potentially the face of the league. So McMahon understands on what big-time players look like, right? I mean, they have coached high-end players who have been drafted high. But has he sat in the living room and recruited Efton Reed? Has he sat in the living room and recruited Brandon Murray? Has he sat in the living room and recruited Cam Thomas or Trendon Watford? Those types of players, all those guys have really kind of been off the board for him. Those are guys that he hasn't really looked at, evaluated, and said, hey, we got a chance to go get him. Because North Carolina and Kentucky and Duke and Florida State and LSU, we're talking to those guys. And it's a different conversation, and it's different relationships. And I don't care how much you know basketball and how smart of a coach that you are. If you don't have players, it doesn't matter. Look at Buzz Williams at Texas A&M. I mean, that roster is shit. He was able to squeeze some wins out of it at the end of the year because he's a hell of a coach. But man on man, each and every night, Texas A&M was the underdog as far as the matchups went, especially in the league. Got to get players. Has to get players. Brian Kelly understood that when he came to LSU, kind of a foreign territory for him. SEC, Deep South. I got to go get me somebody who can get players. Who's the best at it? Frank Wilson. He's a head coach. Who cares? Pay him. Get him. We got to be able to get a roster together. That would be my emphasis as Matt McMahon when I come down here. How can I get players? Who can get me in the living room? And who can LSU really have these conversations and develop these relationships with of, the only way you're going to be able to pay these guys is through NIL deals. So McMahon's going to have to really start to develop the inroads to people around town and to people that really want to support the program to get these guys in. Because, his competition, Nate Oates, Eric Musselman, Porter Moser at Oklahoma coming into the league, Chris Beard at Texas coming into the league. It's a competitive group, man. And they could care less that you're staring down the barrel of sanctions or that you've got to play and walk a straight line as LSU head basketball coach.
The straightest.
The eyeballs over your shoulder
Oh
are going to
my
be
gosh.
intense.
Can you imagine?
Right? And, you step back and think about the LSU job for a minute. It's really, it's McMahon's the 25th coach. Out of those 25, how many do you think of when you think of LSU basketball? For me, it's 3 people pop to the top of my head, right? Dale Brown, Will Wade, and John Brady. Outside of that, this is my lifetime. Some of you may be older than this and have a little bit better history references to LSU basketball. Some of you might be around my age. Some of you may be younger. But I think of 3 characters, really, that stand out from LSU basketball that have come in and created some type of disruption, a wave, something to make you pay attention to what they're doing. And for whatever reason, people have almost forgot the story of Dale Brown. Dale Brown was a lot like Will Wade. He was brash. He was in your face. He said things that made the room kind of uncomfortable. He kind of would go at and ask you questions, turn things around on you. He was a very interesting guy. Really, for whether you liked him or hated him or loved him or despised him, he was a really unique dude, right? He believed in Bigfoot. He was traveling the world.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. He chased Bigfoot for a long time.
I did not know
I thought he
that.
got him in Shaq.
But that type of stuff, he was speaking at a U.S. Army base in Germany.
Looking for Bigfoot.
And that's how he met Shaq.
Really?
Shaq was like 12 or 13 years old and walked up to him and he's like 6'8". He's like, "Can I help you, soldier?" And he's like, "I'm 13 years old, coach, and I can't dunk." He's like, "Where's your dad?" Talk to him first.
That's so funny.
But Brown was a character. He was a guy that would make waves, create stuff. Him and the NCAA butted heads for the majority of the time that he was here. And the NCAA was breathing down his neck for potential violation stuff. And
Brown
was always pushing the limit. Always. And the same thing that happened to Wade kind of happened to Brown at the end. They just kind of wanted him. They were hunting him. They were coming after him. And the Lester Earl stuff bubbled up, and they said, "There's our opportunity. Go get him." And after 25 years on the job, they really kind of forced him out. They were either going to come down hard on him or they were going to give him the opportunity to resign. But when John Brady took over the program, this place was on probation and dealing with scholarship limitations. But it was because Brown was a big character. He was a big personality. And that is, to me, what LSU basketball really needs to be successful. I wonder if the basketball coach who just loves the game, loves the X and O, doesn't necessarily like to get out and promote. And I don't know this about Matt McMahon. I don't know what his public relations skills are or what his thoughts on promoting the program are. But I've seen Trent Johnson come in here who knew basketball. Like, you put him on a chalkboard, you're like, damn, this cat's a whiz. But he wasn't going to get out there and play any games to get players, or he wasn't going to be a personality that was going to cause any waves. He wasn't going to make you pay attention to him, and he just got run over. Johnny Jones, the same story. Great guy. Everybody loved him. A player in the program, played for Dale Brown. By the end of his tenure, him and Brown couldn't stand each other.
Why did Johnny Jones go?
Because he couldn't win.
That was it?
Yeah.
Nothing else? No drama?
No drama.
But see, Jones could get players. He just couldn't develop them. And he didn't have this personality that would, make you pay attention to LSU basketball. There was really no draw. Right? Like Will Wade was an instant draw because he came in here with a personality where you were like, damn, this guy's motivated. He's on the scene. He's going to promote the program. He's going to be accessible. He's going to go get players. He's going to make it exciting. And he's loving it. Like he loves it. And he doesn't care who he pisses off in the process or who he, kind of agitates on what he's doing. And John Brady really kind of caught lightning in the bottle in the sense of the state of Louisiana really went through a 4 to 6 year period where they produced like NBA talent guys. Like Chris Duhon was a point guard that came through here. Greg Monroe came through here. Big Baby, Tyrus Thomas, Tasman Mid, Daryl Man. I mean, like all Garrett Temple. I mean, like you were just like, what the hell's going on? I mean, usually all these guys are football players. And they end up at LSU or, Alabama. But they're playing basketball for LSU. And Brady was a really good coach. He didn't have that personality that, was kind of like Wade or Brown where he'd step out there and say something that you were like, oh my God. He was just more intense and he was more tight at the time. But he was a really good coach. So outside of those three guys, you step away and you analyze what works at LSU basketball. And you've got to be a little creative in who you are, your personality. You almost have to have like an outlying, unique quality to you that just brings attention to the program. I don't know Matt McMahon. I don't know if he's got that. I don't know if he's even wanting to embrace that, because one thing that you have to deal with as LSU as the basketball coach is that you're not football first. First and foremost, you're not football. And there's never really been somebody on campus overseeing that really feeds it, right? If you think of the three bosses right now of the athletic administration, Scott Woodward's the top of the chain. Stephanie Remph is right below him and really runs the day-to-day operations of the entire athletic department. I mean, she's really kind of the engine of the entire deal. And then Verge Osbury. All three of those individuals, the top 5 priorities on their day checklist, all deals with football. And the number one piece on the checklist right now is protect football. Make sure that football stays out of trouble. And then make sure that Brian Kelly has everything he needs to be successful here. On down the list. And then let's introduce Matt McMahon at some point this week. Is the priority of LSU basketball. So you've really got to get out there and fight your way into a seat at the table. Right? I mean, we all know that coaches, people within programs, they're looking for people, especially now with NIL stuff, to help their program, to help their guys. That's why this stuff with, and I'm not backtracking, I'll stay on McMahon, but just to give you a quick example of just kind of how the stuff works on it. The accusation of the level 1 violation, the 5th one with the $300,000 that's being offered to a no-name basketball player, a kid that could come off the bench for LSU, is in itself ludicrous. It is crazy. It is wild to even put out there because they've got football players and handlers looking for money for their guys that you would think that they would be taken care of first. And I can guarantee you in the pecking order of getting that stuff done, a basketball recruit out of Memphis that you've never heard of ain't getting $300K. Remember what it looked like around here when they were trying to save Kayshawn 6 months ago. People were scrambling. And I'm talking about like trying to find like $30,000. And then Gordon steps up, contract, puts the number down. Everybody takes a deep breath. Best college wide receiver coming back to his football team at LSU, not transferring to Alabama and going to go win the Biletnikoff in Tuscaloosa. I mean, that's what they were doing to save Kayshawn. But all those supporters, all those people that you got to fight your way to get to the table and say, hey, we're going to need something to get some players. By that time, they're paying the third cornerback. So, I mean, first things first for Matt McMahon is that he's got to get out and build some relationships and get to know people and really understand the scope of this job. Because it's not just about the X's and the O's, man. If it's about the X's and O's, Matt McMahon is a home run of a hire. Home run, grand slam. Couldn't have really done any better. LSU will be well coached. They will run good offense. They will be well prepared. But if you're doing it with me, Stewie, Katie, and Lloyd, it don't matter.
Sweet 16.
I could score 10 a game.
You don't have to. We only scored 10. What do you think what would you have said, I guess 7 years ago, whenever LSU hired Will Wade, what were your thoughts on whenever you brought him in? You really didn't see his personality yet.
But his press conference, you were like, oh, shit.
Right.
You know, you were like, that's the first chance. You were like, this cat is, I mean, he was like, we will be, we are going, this is where we're headed, and we will not sleep till you get there. You're like, oh, okay, this cat's going to make some, he's going to make some waves.
Well, he called in all the students, right?
Right. Well, that's the best. I think that was the best press conference I think LSU's ever thrown.
Yes. And that was his idea.
It was at the Union.
Yeah, and he gave away like free Chick-fil-A, I think.
Yeah,
or free
he bought pizza or something.
Yeah,
it was
and like
great.
nobody was going to go. And
Right.
he's like, why is nobody excited about this?
Yeah.
Because nobody was watching basketball at the time.
Exactly.
It's like that's just about to change.
Yeah, I mean, like it was
What kind of guy?
It was a sunk ship, right? And he was able to re-energize it. But, you know, I mean, I don't know. I'm anxious to see how McMahon is on that. You know, I mean, you just watch his teams play. You just watch the video. You watch the action. You're like, man, I mean, they're going to be well coached. They're going to be prepared. They're going to run the right stuff. I mean, they're going to be able to break people down. But, I mean, if you're doing that with Efton Reed, Brandon Murray, and Adam Miller, that's a different story than doing it with. And I understand. Look, I'm anxious to see what the contract is exactly, because I think that there will be a grace period over the next 2 to 3 years of, look, you don't have to be instantly successful. And the expectation for McMahon cannot really be that he's got to turn the thing around overnight or that he's got to reconstruct it, you know, over one season. First and foremost, you don't know what the sanctions are going to look like. You don't know what the penalties are going to be. And until really that comes down, there can't really be any future expectations set. So I do believe that there will be a grace period for him to kind of learn the lay of the land. You know, he'll have a little bit more time. You know, a guy like Wade, he had to hit the ground running. I mean, if you remember that first season, he turned that roster over really quick. McMahon's going to have to build a roster. I mean, Wade was having tough conversations with guys that were on the current roster saying, look, we're not going to keep you. We're going to give your scholarship to somebody else. McMahon's just going to have all these scholarships to play with and have to go hand them out and rebuild the team. I do believe that McMahon will probably bring some players with him from Murray State. Because one thing that we have learned about Scott Woodward in all of these hiring processes, whether it was Jay Johnson, whether it was Kim Mulkey, or whether it was Brian Kelly, one of the first questions he asks when he sits down with them is, can you bring anybody with you? Because Jay Johnson's a really good baseball candidate to be the next head coach at LSU. Jay Johnson with Jacob Berry is a standout candidate to be the next head coach at LSU. Kim Mulkey obviously comes with all the accolades, the Hall of Fames, the national championships, the Big 12 titles, and the reputation. She's really attractive to be the next head coach at LSU. Scott Woodward wants her. How about Kim Mulkey and Hannah Gusters? Yep. Brian Kelly. I mean, look at all the guys that he was able to kind of bring with him and taking the job. I'd imagine that the same type of conversation was had with Matt McMahon on, hey, if you take this gig, if you get the LSU head coaching job, can you bring any players with you? I would anticipate McMahon saying and stating at his opening press conference that he's probably got a couple of players behind him coming as well. And his first conversation needs to be with guys on the current roster, right? I don't even know if you even try to kick up conversations with guys like Julian Phillips and Badara Traore. Is that the former offensive lineman?
Yeah. LSU, though.
But the LSU center that they had committed is I believe it's Traore out of Arizona. Marvell Allen. I don't even know if you kick those conversations back up.
Did you just pivot to somebody else?
Yeah, just maybe go somewhere else. Okay. I don't know that. Maybe you do.
Plenty of 5-stars on the list.
Maybe you do. I don't know. But, I mean, my first comment, like this morning, if he's here and was introduced last night, which he was at the women's game, I mean, like this morning I'm meeting with Adam Miller. This morning I'm meeting with Brandon Murray. This morning I'm meeting with Efton Reed. And, look, I know that behind the scenes, Kevin Nickelberry is a really attractive assistant coach because he's potentially got players with him. Georgetown and Patrick Ewing are, from what I understand, pretty hot on the trail of Nickelberry and interested to see if he would be open and available to be on staff. But if he's got Efton Reed, Brandon Murray, and maybe Alex Fudge, he's got the job. But if somehow LSU, because here's the deal, you may be in like a 9 or 10 month window before you even find anything out, or whether this notice of allegations may be even like that's the next movement on it. So you may be able to squeeze another basketball season in before you're even sanctioned. Who knows? I mean, look how long it took for the allegations to come down. 3.5 years. Now, I don't anticipate that it'll be that long, but I mean, who's to say it won't be a year? I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing Matt McMahon. Hughes Bowden, Georgetown, and Patrick Ewing is a sinking ship. It is. It is. I mean, he's throwing Hail Marys. Georgetown administrators made him fire his entire staff. But, basketball's a quirky game. In one season, if you get some players, if Alex Fudge and Brandon Murray show up on your campus, the next thing you know, how good is Brandon Murray going to be next season between years 1 and 2? I'd expect him to make a huge jump.
He's amazing.
He really is, man.
You think he'll stay?
I was about to say, would you expect them to leave not because of the new coach, not because McMahon was brought in, just because of everything around LSU, and you don't really know what you're playing for, you don't know when you're going to be sanctioned, and then you don't know what the team's going to look like when you could go. They would probably be able to join any blue blood team in the country if they decide to hit the portal. They'll be asked by everyone. Oh, no doubt. People are rating LSU right now. It's just like what happened with
it's recruiting.
O left.
It's 5-star recruiting, really. Hughes Bowden, Arizona is over a year of notice since being served notice of allegations, still no sanctions. Daniel Newman, Hill, Brown, and Williams are the 3 players that he believes will be coming from Murray State to LSU.
That's his top 3. That's his top 3 players.
Yeah,
That's his top 3 scorers.
Man, you think he'd bring all of them?
Probably.
Hill averaged 18. Well, Williams averaged 18 last season. And Brown averaged 16, and Hill averaged 13.
Rico Delgado, new poll question: is the Jordy jinx real?
It's not up, but it can be.
What's the Jordy jinx, though? I still don't get it. You haven't jinxed anything.
I I don't know, Rico.
Yeah, Rico.
Speak up.
Explain.
Shorty. Morales Roll-Offs brings you the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, Morales Roll-Offs online at moralesrolloffs.com. You can find them there. They're located on Airline Highway. Stop in to see them today, man. Great website, great office, great brick and mortar over there on Airline, right across from Industrialplex. 225-427-0000 is the phone number if you need a dumpster rental today. And as we've tell you, look, if you're in construction and you're a contractor and you already have your relationship set up with your roll-off guy or your dumpster personnel, whoever it may be, and you got a couple of projects happening right now, just give Morales a chance. MoralesRolloffs.com. You'll check out their competitive pricing, easy to work with, friendly service, great customer service. And we tell you all the time, if you're moving office to office, moving out of a house, trying to get some storage moved from one place to another, remember, they rent U-Hauls over at Morales Roll-Offs as well. So if you need some help with some U-Hauls and some moving, get in touch with Morales Roll-Offs. Looking forward to our second hour today. We're going to be jam-packed. We got Jeff Duncan to start us off at 8 o'clock. Stacy Hollowell is playing for a NAIA national championship with the Loyola Wolfpack. First time they're playing for it since the mid-1940s. As Coach Hollowell has done an incredible job of bringing just a lot of relevancy to that program. I know Coach G. Orlando, who was before him, very proud in watching that program bud and having a chance to play for a national championship tonight. And then we'll also talk to Kyren Lacy, who is one of the newest transfer wide receivers into LSU, and ask him his expectation for season starting. He's also representing Gordon McKernan, as he'll have the G on this morning when he comes in. We'll ask him about the game, like NIL stuff. What type of pressure does that put on for a student athlete these days? How close was he to playing basketball at a high school? If you've ever seen Kyren Lacy's basketball highlight video, he could probably start on LSU's team next year if they have the mass exodus that I'd assume that could happen with the current roster. A kid like Lacy
Jordan Tolles and
might
Kyron
be
Lacy.
like a conversation that McMahon has like early on, like, hey man, can you just help me out through these first 2 years? Can you give me
I don't think Brian Kelly
8 to 12 points
going on.
Let's see how they distribute the football this year. Yeah. But we'll ask Kyren Lacy all about that coming up here in the second hour today. LSU baseball game moved from tonight to tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Is that right?
It'll probably be a beautiful night tonight.
No
too.
doubt. No doubt.
Just
Storm
a great
tomorrow
night for baseball.
Storm tomorrow. And then what else was moved today? Oh, our name, image, and likeness, our NIL event, which was set to take place over at the Lod Cook Alumni and Hotel Center, was set to go off today at noon. That is not going to happen. It's actually been postponed for 1 week. So if you have tickets, they're still active and still able to use a week from today over at our name, image, and likeness sit-down panel over on campus at the Lod Cook Alumni Center. So you still have a chance to get tickets. We will post that link on social media and throughout our YouTube chat if you're looking to get in over there. But it has been, because of the weather that is scheduled.
Scheduled.
To hit South Louisiana. It's all been suspended. We'll take a break. We'll be right back here. Oh,
You're really your bull. You've really painted yourself in a corner here.
Whoa, bro.
Ooh, can we call our weather guy?
This is from
yeah.
him.
Yeah. Let me see. Okay, call Cap. We'll come back with a weather report here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Why is that a question?
Leonard Fournette, breaking news.
What?
Leonard Fournette, breaking
What?
news, who visited the Patriots on Monday, is re-signing with the Buccaneers. 3 years,
Tom, you
$21 million.
Tom.
Little 7 per for Lenny.
Great for Lenny.
Yeah, nice work, Lenny.
I'm glad he didn't go to the
All right,
Patriots, so
Fournette
I'm
staying in the
gonna
NFC South, staying with Tommy Brady and the Buccaneers. We'll come
Damn
back
it.
with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
in the weather.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you daily by Morales Roll-Offs. Morales Roll-Offs provides dumpster rentals for residential and commercial needs in Baton Rouge and surrounding areas. Morales has roll-off dumpsters ranging from 10 yards to 40 yards to accommodate all of your disposal needs. Search online, moralesrolloffs.com.
Southern Eye Centers, located at 6859 Jefferson Highway right here in Baton Rouge, has been serving your eyes for over 40 years in the capital region. They offer friendly service in a helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. If you want more information, log online to southerneyecenters.com. That is southerneyecenters.com. Stop in and check out their beautiful office located on Jefferson Highway right here in the capital city. And remember, each time you walk in there and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Centers will take 25% off of their fantastic selection of sunglasses. All you got to do is mention the Jordy Culotta Show. Check them out, southerneyecenters.com, and located at 6859 Jefferson Highway.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
All right, we took a shot in the dark and called the best meteorologist in the Southeast, and Dr. Caparato picked up the phone on the cold call.
That's
What a
awesome.
busy morning
thrilled.
he is. We have hijacked your radar and we have put it on our screen. This looks pretty bad. When they called school off yesterday or gave them a half a day, I thought that the sunshine would be out. Am I going to be wrong today? Good morning. Thank you for taking the call, sir.
So wait. You thought the sunshine was going to be out, as if we're wrong with the forecast?
No, it wasn't on you. It wasn't on you. It was on the
Not you
diocese. It was on the school leaders when they sent over
Look, the school thing is a mess, and it's hard on everybody. You know, what you got to keep in mind. Look, we all grew up with we'd be at school today, right?
Sure.
I think that's probably where you stand, but
Yes.
well, we're in a much more litigious world, I think, than when you and I were growing up too. So there's a lot of liability in play there, and it's tough. I don't envy anybody that has to make those decisions. We take calls. I don't tell anybody what to do. I just give them the weather and let them make the decisions from there. But
Dr. Caparato said we didn't have to go.
He's like, I'm not in charge of school.
Whoa. All right, he's all over Twitter. In fact, he just posted an update about 2 minutes ago. Follow him at Steve WAFB. This is Dr. Steve Caparato, meteorologist over at WFB Channel 9 News here in South Louisiana. Doc, what are we looking at today? I know that you're very busy.
Yeah, so through the morning here should be pretty quiet. So, you mentioned the schools. So the schools that went with kind of like the half day, the early dismissal, they should be good, letting out around noon. It's mainly this afternoon that we're worried about, especially mid to late afternoon hours. So you mentioned, I just posted an update. The Storm Prediction Center just updated their severe weather outlook, and they kept the Baton Rouge area in that 4 out of 5 moderate risk. The only real change is that they expanded it really farther northward into Mississippi. And the other thing is they kind of increased the chances of some damaging winds, especially just north of Baton Rouge. So the big question mark into the afternoon, everybody kind of focuses on tornadoes, I think, right? So the thing we're going to track this afternoon is, do we get any individual storm cells developing ahead of the main line? Pretty high confidence we'll get some form of a squall line coming through mid to late afternoon. But the big question mark is, do we get in any individual storms ahead of that? If we do, those will have more of a tension to kind of rotate and maybe be the ones that are more concerning with the tornado potential. The little bit of good news is that indications are that threat might be a little higher, a little bit north of us. But having said that, as the squall line comes through, still a very real potential that some of the storms could produce some damaging winds, and the squall line could still have embedded tornadoes too. So pay attention. Now, I like to remind everybody, these severe weather events never impact everybody. In fact, for any given neighborhood, your chances are still better that you don't get severe weather than you do. It's just that today is kind of an elevated threat relative to normal.
How many times are we threatened by tornadoes? You rarely hear tornadoes coming through this part of the country, but I guess how relevant are they in this geography?
They're probably a little more common than you think. What's a little less common are the strong tornadoes. it often seems like those kind of start out. We'll sometimes see storms develop here in South Louisiana, and then as they kind of cross the state line to Mississippi, the storms really take off. And I wouldn't rule that out happening today as well. But still, there's this threat for an isolated strong tornado. So to put the 4 out of 5 moderate risk in perspective, though, that includes the city of Baton Rouge today. The last time the city of Baton Rouge was actually in this 4 out of 5 risk was 6 years ago. You have to go back to February 2016. So it's been a while.
Wow. Doc, I know you're very busy
What
today.
happened then? Should we be worried?
I don't know if he's an historian either.
Oh. Well,
I missed the question there.
well, what happened in 2016? Should we be nervous?
So the 2016 did end up being a pretty big event, but I would caution you. It's hard to compare these events. So, but take that as a heads up. It's definitely a big
don't
heads
fly a
up.
kite today.
Right.
What about hail?
Right.
Are we getting hail today?
Yeah, I mean, hail could be. So all the severe weather types are, in the mix. So one of the things we tell everybody is kind of silly that, I'm sure it's common sense type stuff, but if you are fortunate enough to have a garage or a carport, not a bad idea to pull the car undercover just in case we get any hail this afternoon.
At Steve WAFB. He's on Twitter there, on social media. Like we said, he just posted his last update about 4 minutes ago, so he'll be accessible all day for your weather updates, which could get a little bad after lunch today. So make sure you're paying attention to Dr. Caparato. Thank you as always, sir. Have a safe day, and we'll talk soon.
All right, you guys too.
Thank you. There he is, Dr. Caparato.
Say
checking
goodbye
in
to
this morning.
Henry.
Stop it, Lloyd.
Say goodbye to
No,
Henry.
I'll bring him in if there's like a severe storm.
Wow.
Bring him in. Oh, yeah.
Yes. What do you mean?
I forgot he could go in.
Remember City Cafe.
Say goodbye. I don't just say goodbye.
That's your house sitter saying that, so you know what happens to Henry when it rains, bro.
I forgot to do it.
Obviously you did.
Yeah.
Keeping all the pets outside in the rain. Let's go. You're out. It's raining. Get out of here. Let's go.
You might
Let's go.
That was good.
City Cafe. Remember every city. Is that the noise they make?
Yeah, they bleed.
They bleed.
CityCafeBR.net online. Over 100 years in business. Remember, you can find City Cafe on O'Neill and George O'Neill today for a great lunch special. They have great lunch specials every single day over at City Cafe. CityCafeBR.net is where you can find them online. Brunch every Sunday, 10 a.m. if you want to get in there and find them. Brunch every Sunday at 10 a.m. We will talk to Jeff Duncan coming up here from NOLA.com and the Times-Picayune, as Jameis Winston has agreed to terms with the New Orleans Saints on a 3-year deal, a 2-year guaranteed deal with a team option in the third for about $28.5 million. Winston is re-inked to the New Orleans Saints as you're starting to see this roster get shored up for training camp and off-season drills, and Winston going to be leading them under center. We will ask Jeff Duncan his thoughts on the announcement of Winston coming back to New Orleans after the injury and what to anticipate with Dennis Allen now in control going into the draft, and what were his thoughts on Deshaun Watson? How close were the Saints? What was that negotiation like from his point of view? All of that coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show and more. Ghost Chevrolet drives us every single day. We'll talk to Kyren Lacy. He'll be in studio with us at 8:30. Stacy Hollowell from the Loyola Wolfpack, NAIA National Championship tonight. Loyola playing for the first time since 1946. We'll talk to Coach Stacy coming up here before we get out of here at 9 a.m. Driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
City Cafe is going to be whistling.
Ooh, they are.
Whistling.
Oh, man, it'll be so loud. Don't sit in that corner table.
Yeah, that's a great spot.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you daily by Morales Roll-Offs. Morales Roll-Offs provides dumpster rentals for residential and commercial needs in Baton Rouge and surrounding areas. Morales has roll-off dumpsters ranging from 10 yards to 40 yards to accommodate all of your disposal needs. Search online MoralesRolloffs.com.
Do you have questions about your finances? Are you looking for recommendations from a skilled financial advisor? Get in touch with our friend Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones. You can find him easily by logging online and shooting him an email at daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. That is daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Whether it is help with your 401k or just fiscal advice heading into the new season, get in touch with Daniel today. Best way to do it? Email him, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. He's our experienced financial advisor. Let him be yours, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU bluewater.com. Eye Centers, located at 6859 Jefferson Highway right here in Baton Rouge, has been serving your eyes for over 40 years in the capital region. They offer friendly service in a helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. If you want more information, log online to southerneyecenters.com. That is southerneyecenters.com. Stop in and check out their beautiful office located on Jefferson Highway right here in the capital city. And remember, each time you walk in there and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, Dr. Ann Shaw. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet here on this Tuesday morning. You heard the update from Dr. Steve Caparato from WAFB, who is our chief meteorologist here on the Jordy Culotta Show. He gave you an update on what the weather could entail today. So make sure you're safe out there, making safe decisions on the road. It looks like after lunch it could get a little bad with some hail and maybe some wind, maybe some tornadoes here in South Louisiana, which you rarely see. Let's go to our phone line, Jeff Duncan, which is compliments of Metropolitan Health Group, our phone line here on the Jordy Culotta Show. A lot of stuff to get to with Jeff, one of our favorite guests, as we dive into New Orleans Saints and some New Orleans Pelicans discussion. Make sure you're following Jeff on social media, at Jeff Duncan _ is where you follow him on Twitter. Of course, he is the columnist over there at the Times-Picayune and NOLA.com. He also does some work for Fox 8 News down there in New Orleans, and is the author of the best book that the Saints that has ever been written about the Saints, in my opinion, and is the relationship between Sean Payton and Drew Brees, and it tells the story about how those guys built the greatest offense in NFL history. In fact, the title of the book is Payton and Brees, the men who built the greatest offense in NFL history. If you have not read it, if you're looking for a gift idea, make sure you scoop that up, and there's a link right there on Jeff Duncan's Twitter page. Jeff, good morning. How are you?
Jordy, I'm doing great. Looking ominously wise. I'm sure it's the same way up there. You're right. We don't get tornadoes. I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. That was always our weather concerns, were tornadoes up there. It's very rare for us to get them down here. So let's hope everybody's safe and sound today.
Absolutely. Our thoughts are with our people down in New Orleans as well. You guys stay safe down there today. Jeff, some news yesterday. New Orleans inks Jameis Winston to a deal, 3-year deal, that third being a team option. When you saw the Deshaun Watson news last week that he was going to end up in Cleveland, is this where you anticipated New Orleans was going to land?
Yeah, it just made sense, Jordy. I wrote in my column today, basically a marriage of convenience. There really weren't a lot of other options for either side at that point once the Deshaun Watson situation took that really extraordinary turn. I don't think anybody expected that to happen. I know the New Orleans Saints didn't, and I know the Atlanta Falcons didn't, and we saw the fallout in Atlanta from that yesterday. I think Winston is a perfectly capable starting quarterback, and that's really all the Saints need right now with the roster they have intact. Now, they have to stay healthy. The one thing that's happened with these cap constraints that they've had is they really hurt their depth. They haven't been able to keep the roster that they had 2 or 3 years ago, and we saw that impact them a year ago. But I do think there's reason for optimism. I mean, Jameis Winston knows this offense. They know Jameis Winston. There's a familiarity there. And he proved last year in that strong start that he can lead this team and win games at a high level. I think the concern is, can he do it consistently? We saw sometimes last year, not only game-to-game inconsistency, but almost within a game, quarter-to-quarter inconsistency. I think that's the concern. And I think the optimism is that he will, the longer he's in the system, he'll get more consistent.
Jeff, I think the best compliment that you can give Sean Payton is that he gave any player and the team confidence no matter who the quarterback was, whether it was his play calling, his scheming, or the preparation. How much of that do you carry over with Carmichael and the system that's set in place, but Sean Payton not being there?
Well, I think it remains to be seen, Jordy, long term. I think there's been snippets where we've seen small windows where this team has performed without Sean Payton and been very successful. We saw it last year down in Tampa, probably the best game of the year. Sean Payton wasn't even on the sidelines for the Bucs game. But I'm not sure how that's going to play out. I want to see it. I think it's going to be fascinating to watch. I have a lot of confidence in Dennis Allen and most of the coaching staff has, returned intact. It's a very highly respected coaching staff, but you're right. There's an intangible quality to Sean Payton. There's a cockiness, almost an arrogance that he brought to the team that was infectious on the sidelines, especially during games. I mean, he was a different human being during games, and I'm interested to see how much of that is missed over the course of the season.
There was a report yesterday by Adam Schefter that Jameis Winston could be ready for training camp. Do you have an update on his health and where he stands? It seems like his rehab has been ahead of the process the entire time.
Yeah, actually, I've heard that there was never even a question. I heard that actually a month ago that he was way ahead of pace and was going to be able to start training camp. I'm sure he'll be eased into things. This is another reason why I think it makes a lot of sense. He doesn't have to go through a full-scale training camp. He knows this offense. He's been in it now for over 2 years. So I think that's another reason why you go for a guy like Jameis Winston as opposed to maybe bringing in Jimmy Garoppolo, who I know the Saints had interest in, but Garoppolo himself is coming off shoulder surgery. So he was going to be on a similar timeline as Winston, but he didn't know the offense. So I think the Saints went with the safe bet in Winston.
Was there a market for Jameis? Do you know of?
No, not really. I mean, I think he could have gotten a job as a backup, sort of a Teddy Bridgewater type deal, but it was not as strong as I anticipated, Jordy. I thought he would, after what he did last year, but I think that injury, coupled with his inconsistency, really hurt his market.
It seems like Mike Thomas is full go for training camp. He's even gotten a little bit of his swagger back on social media. Do you have an idea of kind of where his mental state and where he is physically heading in to a spring and an off season?
I've heard nothing but positive things about Michael Thomas. I mean, he's taken on a leadership role on this team. They'd asked him to take on a leadership role. I know Dennis Allen flew out to Los Angeles. That's Mike Thomas's base of operations in the off season, and met with him. And I think had this kind of let's get to know each other a little better meeting. Dennis Allen, of course, defensive coordinator. I know they've been in the building together, but they don't really know each other. If you know anything about the dynamics of a football team, the defense is off to one side, the offense is another. They don't really interact as much as you might think. And I think this was Dennis Allen meeting with Mike Thomas saying, hey, we need you to be a leader on this team. You know, there's no more Drew Brees here. You have to step up, and we need you. And I think Mike Thomas has embraced that. I think that's actually something he's looking forward to doing. And I know he was heavily involved in recruiting Deshaun Watson. I mean, he was spearheading that recruitment effort. So that's another example of him kind of taking the lead here, something he didn't do, frankly, 2 or 3 years ago.
Jeff, what do you know about that negotiation? It seemed like the Saints were the team to beat for about a 72-hour window with Deshaun Watson, speaking of.
They very much were. They felt very good about it, Jordy. I would say after they met with Watson on that initial, I think it was a Sunday, Monday, they were so confident that he was coming to New Orleans. They were informally talking about press conferences. That's how far along it was. And Atlanta came in late. Atlanta was not in the picture. And I think Quincy Avery, at least of what I've been told, his personal trainer and quarterbacks coach who lives in Atlanta, is based in Atlanta, got involved and went to the Falcons and said, hey, you guys should get involved in this. There's a real strong chance you could get Deshaun Watson to come back to Atlanta. He's from Gainesville, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta. And they swept in there really quickly and went all in, and I think really did some short-term and potentially long-term damage to their roster building and their rebuilding program over there, because they went all in thinking they were going to get Watson, and it kind of blew up on them. So I really think the Saints were ultimately the number 3 choice here after Cleveland, of course, came in with the ridiculous offer they gave. Yeah. I mean, the contract is spectacular. And then Atlanta. So I think the Saints ultimately would not have gotten Watson even if he didn't go to Cleveland.
The offseason had a ranking of free agents that really had Teron Armstead at the top of every list. He is still unsigned. What are you hearing? What do you anticipate his future to look like?
Well, he visited Miami, and that's certainly a potential landing spot. But I think the Saints are still in this with Teron Armstead. I think Teron wants to stay in New Orleans. He loves the culture here. He's a leader in the locker room. I don't think he wants to leave. But if the offer is so extraordinary, a top 5 offer, for instance, the Saints aren't going to be in that market, Jordy, so he will probably sign elsewhere. But I think the Saints will allow him to test the market as they have and say, come back to us. Let's see what you got, see if we can work on something that makes both sides happy. So I don't think the door is closed on Armstead coming back yet.
I know that there was a court date, but is there anything new or anything that you've learned on the Alvin Kamara situation from Las Vegas?
No, it's been all quiet on that front. I think everyone in New Orleans is expecting some form of discipline, regardless of what happens with the charges with Alvin Kamara. So I think running back will be some kind of priority here coming up, either in the veteran free agent market or in the draft, because they could be faced with playing without Kamara for at least 6 games if you look at precedent.
Jeff Duncan is here, and he's on Twitter at @JeffDuncan_. Make sure you're following him on social media. Jeff, you and I have talked at least every time you come on a little bit about the Pelicans, and for a lot of the time of that conversation, we were concerned on where they're headed, what's going on from upper management down to the roster management. But it really does feel like they've got things heading in the right direction. They fell last night by 3. I know they didn't have Brandon Ingram, and he's made a huge impact for them with Zion being out, at least here lately. What have you made of this run under Willie Green? It's been very impressive from our point of view in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've been very impressed with Willie Green, especially after that just awful start. I mean, the team's basically been a 500 team since that 1-12 start. And more than anything, I think if you're a basketball fan or a Pelicans fan, you have to be encouraged with the effort that this team gives. It's so much better than it was in past years. You can tell that they've bought in. You can just see it in the body language and great reason for optimism, no matter what happens there the rest of the way. Now they're in a fight, a kind of a pillow fight, if you will, with the rest of the NBA West to try and get that 10 seed. I think that they will get it, but brighter days are ahead. Regardless of what happens here, it's going to be a short postseason. But if you plug in Brandon Ingram, if you plug in Zion Williamson, I think that's a big if right now, because I still think that situation is very much up in the air. But this team could be scary, and they're all still very young, still on a very young timeline as far as maturation of the roster. I know everyone keeps saying that, Jordy. It seems like it's perpetually, hey, wait till next year, right? It's always about the future with the Pelicans, but I think there's reason to be encouraged by what we've seen lately.
I know you mentioned the uncertainty, but is the news trending better in the direction of Zion Williamson?
I think it's trending about the same, to be honest with you. I mean, he's back here now. I think that, I guess, would be very encouraging. I felt like the best chance they had to keep him long term was to get him back here, get him out of Portland. I understand why he went out there. It's not unusual, but they needed him considering he's a young, kind of, in some ways, very immature guy. If you think about it, he's from Spartanburg, South Carolina. He played at Duke. I know that's a big program, but it's a small area. And all of a sudden he gets thrust into the NBA with all these expectations. He's got a little bit of a, I would say, helicopter parent syndrome with his parents. I mean, they're very protective of him. And I think the maturation of him as an NBA star has had some bumps in the road. Getting him back here with Willie Green, with C.J. McCollum now, the president of the Players Association, I think it's the best thing for him. He should put himself in C.J. McCollum's hip pocket, learn how to be a pro, and then I think this thing has a chance to have a happy resolution.
Jeff, last one. We'll get you out of here on this one. We're about to talk to Stacy Hollowell here in about 2 minutes, who is leading Loyola, the Wolfpack, against Talladega tonight in the national championship for an NAIA championship. It's the first time Loyola has been back there since the mid-1940s. From your point of view, who loves New Orleans sports, can you mention what Hollowell and Loyola can accomplish tonight and what they have accomplished up to this point?
Well, I mean, the program dropped athletics in 1991. They just brought them back in 1991. What they've done out there, especially Coach Hollowell, has been remarkable. I mean, they have dominated NAIA basketball like we haven't seen. I mean, they have a chance to go 37-1, Jordy. I don't care where you're playing, right? In the rec league.
That's right.
That's spectacular. And they're going to have to do it the hard way now. They're going to have to beat Talladega, a longtime rival, for the fourth time in one season. And they barely beat them once this year in overtime at home. So it's not going to be easy. I think mentally it's going to be difficult. But for the Loyola community, not just the sports community, but I think the entire academic community, it is a huge accomplishment just getting to this title game. There's a resurgence in athletics across the board at Loyola, and it's really been a great story. Brett Simpson, the AD, has done a tremendous job there, and their goal is to become the Stanford of the NAIA, and I think they're well on the way to doing that.
Jeff, last one. Any chance on Jarvis Landry, you think?
I think there's a possibility there. It's all going to come down to the price tag, and we know the Saints don't have a ton of money to spend right now, and Mickey Loomis is very frugal when it comes to free agency. So it would come down to, does Jarvis Landry want to come back home and slide in next to Mike Thomas? It's a very attractive position for him if the money's right.
Stay safe down there today, Jeff. We'll talk soon, man. Thank you as always.
All right, Jordy. Take care, buddy.
Jeff Duncan checking in from NOLA.com and the Times-Picayune on Twitter at @JeffDuncan_. Great information there, packed into that 15 minutes on Saints, Pelicans, a little bit on our next guest, Stacy Hollowell, who will be joining us from Kansas City as his team takes on Talladega tonight for a national championship. That conversation brought to you by RMB Builders, our friends over at RMB. Get in touch with them, Rhett Bourgeois and the crew, if you're looking for a custom-designed home. If you're looking for reconstruction on the home that you live in now, find RMB online at rmb-builders.com, rmb-builders.com. Shout out to the Bakers who just showed up inside the chat with a thumbs up and hit the like. We appreciate that. Good to see you and good to hear from you. It's been a minute. Check out RMB Builders online, rmb-builders.com. We got Kyron Lacy in studio in 15 minutes. We'll talk to him about what to anticipate with spring football, Brian Kelly, LSU football coming up this season. We got Tiger Trivia Tuesday that we got to get to before we get out of here at somewhere around 9 a.m. But next we go up to Kansas City and we take this. We will talk to Stacy Hollowell, who is the head basketball coach for Loyola down in New Orleans, who is playing for a national championship for the first time since 1946. You heard Jeff Duncan there. They blew the entire athletic office up in the 90s. Now they have a chance here to restore the pride and really bring it back. We will talk to Coach Hollowell next here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Do you have questions about your finances? Are you looking for recommendations from a skilled financial advisor? Get in touch with our friend Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones. You can find him easily by logging online and shooting him an email at daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. That is daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Whether it is help with your 401k or just fiscal advice heading into the new season, get in touch with Daniel today. Best way to do it? Email him, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. He's our experienced financial advisor. Let him be yours, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Southern Eye Center is located at 6859. All right, welcome back in here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Ghost Chevrolet here on this Tuesday. Expecting some weather here in South Louisiana. Make sure you're planning for it. We talked to Dr. Caparato in hour number one, our chief meteorologist from WAFB. Kind of spelled out the day it could get a little hairy after lunch. So if you're out there, make sure you're making plans. I know that schools are being dismissed. If you're looking for something to watch tonight, all eyeballs will be on the Loyola Wolfpack as they are looking to capture a national championship in basketball for the first time since the 1940s. This game is going to tip off from Kansas City, neutral location, 7 o'clock tip-off, as Loyola and Talladega will be coming in for a national championship from Kansas City. It is our pleasure to welcome back to the conversation one of the great guys here in basketball that has gotten this Loyola Wolfpack team back to this game. I know a lot of people are very proud of Stacy Hollowell as he joins us here now on the Jordy Culotta Show. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Doing great, thanks. Appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, Coach. Good to have you back. I know you were big on routine. Is it tough to keep a routine on a day like today where at 7 o'clock tonight, your team, your program is on the stage that you have been yearning to get back to for the last 8 seasons?
There will be a few distractions probably along the way, but we're going to do everything we can to stay on task and prepare as if it's another game.
Tell me the challenge that you face tonight. This is one of your rivals. This is a school that you're very familiar with in Talladega. What is the challenge for your group?
Well, this will be the 4th time we've played them this year. We've won the first 3. It's always tough to beat a team 3 times, much less 4, but our guys are locked in. We'll see them as another opponent and not as someone we've played. They're big inside and have some really talented guards out on the perimeter, and we'll guard the house and go get it on the glass and let the chips fall where they may.
Coach, 36-1 going into this game tonight. As Jeff Duncan and I were just talking, I don't care what level that is at and what league that is in. To do that is a hell of a feat. Tell me about the ride that the Wolfpack has been on to get to this point this season. What has this year been like from the head coach's point of view?
Well, it's been beyond anything I could have imagined. We were here last year. We lost in the Elite 8 in overtime, had a key injury there, and we felt like we left some things on the table. And we're back to take what we feel like we left. We've just been through a lot. The hurricane ripped the roof off the gym. Yeah. It rained in the gym for a few days maybe, and ruined our floor. So we were nomads for most of the year. We picked up early, went and did a training camp in Dallas. Our guys never complained. We came back. We practiced early mornings at Xavier or Delgado. Tulane chipped in and helped us. The city really got behind us. And it's just been one thing after another. COVID hit us pretty good. We got here, we had a stomach bug, and we had some guys in the ER, and we've just overcome one thing after another, and these guys have just been relentless. So proud to be their coach and hope we can get this done.
Talk a little bit about your personnel. What's some of the matchups that you have tonight with this team in Talladega?
Well, Zach Reitzel will go up against a number of big guys for them. Zach is a agile, athletic wing type player that we've been using as an interior guy, and I've had a lot of success there. Zach should be National Player of the Year, averaging right at 20 points and 10 rebounds in conference, and probably 4 or 5 assists. Miles Burns is unquestionably National Defensive Player of the Year. No one in the country was even close to him in steals. He's probably 50 steals more than anybody else. Rebounds the ball, just causes so much disruption when he's on the floor. He's really kind of our Dennis Rodman, and can really go get it at the rim. We've got.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Brandon Davis, a local New Orleans area kid, second leading scorer for us, can shoot it and finish. Andrew Fava, 3-point shooter from University of Florida. Just a number of guys that have contributed to this success.
7:00 tip-off tonight, national championship game, NAIA. Natty on the line as the Loyola Wolfpack will tip it off against Talladega. Coach, I mentioned I have heard from John Brady. John Brady was sending his best through Tim Floyd. Talked to Andy Cannizzaro, who's the former LSU assistant, who I believe you live right down the street from, and Jeff Duncan was just spreading his message on the love that he has for your program. Do you feel that from the city? It feels like the entire city is behind you guys tonight.
It's been a wave of momentum, and we're enjoying it. Bunch of great guys there that you just named, and proud to represent New Orleans, proud to represent Louisiana, and we hope we can bring something special back.
Bring it home, Coach. Pulling for you guys tonight,
Yes,
man. You deserve to be there. It's been fun to watch this run with you leading Loyola, and it feels like you guys deserve to be there. Bring it back to South Louisiana. Thanks for the time on game day.
Thank you, Jordy. Take care.
Yes, sir. There he is, Stacy Hollowell, from checking in from Kansas City this morning as the Wolfpack gets ready for a national championship game versus Talladega. All right, that was a quick move in 30 minutes to set us up for the guest of the day in studio, Kyren Lacy. The man, LSU basketball with a turnover. Their roster could turn over. He could probably start for him next year, but he's a wide receiver on the football team. When he comes in, we're going to sit down with him. We'll ask him about everything, man. Recruiting, basketball, football, UL the last couple of years, transferring to LSU, some of the coaches, Cortez Hankton, Frank Wilson, Brian Kelly, Mike Denbrock, what he anticipates in spring. Come back with us here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by our friends over at Go Chevrolet. We'll be back with Kyren Lacy, who's representing our guy, the G, today, Gordon McKernan, as Kyren Lacy will be in studio with us next here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. What up, man? Southern Eye Centers, located at 6859 Jefferson Highway right here in Baton Rouge, has been serving your eyes for over 40 years in the capital region. They offer friendly service in a helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. If you want more information, log online to southerneyecenters.com. That is southerneyecenters.com. Stop in and check out their beautiful office located on Jefferson Highway right here in the capital city. And remember, each time you walk in there and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Center Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Ghost Chevrolet here on this Tuesday. Remember, you stay safe out there. Catch up with our weather report from Dr. Caparato in Hour 1 if you go back and check out the podcast. As always, brought to you by our friends over at RMB Builders. And with the weather coming through today, don't forget about our guy, Steel Henry. If you've got roofing problems, man, if you've got roofing issues, Hargrove Roofing, call Steel, 318-229-7266. 318-229-7266. Make sure you know who's on your roof. The professionals from Hargrove Roofing and Steel Henry, our exclusive roofer here on the Jordy Culotta Show. One of the wide receivers going into spring drills that everybody is looking forward to checking out on the practice field over at LSU is Kyren Lacy. Lacy is one of the biggest names in the transfer portal that hit the transfer portal last year, and he ended up at LSU. It seemed like everybody in the SEC was coming after Lacy. When he put his name in, every school that was in the Southeastern Conference was making a pitch to Kyren Lacy. LSU was able to be the last team standing there as they were able to get a really good player out of Thibodaux, Louisiana, and now joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show, representing our guy, Gordon McKernan, with the NIL stuff. You see there is he's got the G on his chest. And we will talk to him about the NIL stuff, but it's good to have him in studio. Kyren, good morning. How are you, brother?
Good morning, everyone. How y'all doing this morning?
It is. It's good to see you, man. It's good to have you here. Take me through recruiting. I guess the last 6 months of your life had to be pretty wild, from finishing up your season at UL. You really had a great year. A coaching change with the Cajuns as Napier leaves and goes to Florida. The NIL stuff starts to hit in college football. Then you go into the transfer portal, which makes you immediate eligible once you make that choice. Every school in the country seems like it's coming after you. You end up at LSU. Tell me through the last couple of weeks and months. What's it been like?
The last couple of months has been crazy. So when I hit the portal, I was like, because I'm going in with no idea. So I'm just going in the portal because I really was scared because of the quarterback situation at UL. So I talked with my family, my friends. So I decided to hit the portal. Next thing you know, so my name, I posted that I was entering the portal like Friday, but my name wasn't all the way in the portal, so I had to wait until Monday. So when my name hit the portal Monday, I just woke up at like 6 o'clock to like 40 missed calls. So my phone was going crazy. It was going wild. I was like, oh my God, this can't be serious.
What's happening?
Right. So when I see that, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Like Kentucky, like Auburn, LSU, everybody's just coming at me at one time. So it's like after I get off the phone with one person, I'm on the phone with another person all day. It's like it was draining. So the first 30 minutes, I was ready to get out of the transfer portal.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, I was like, no. So I was like, yeah, this is about to be crazy. So I set up a visit to Auburn. Auburn did a really good job. Trevon Reed did an awesome job recruiting me.
Louisiana native.
Yeah, Louisiana. He's from
Thibodaux native.
Thibodaux, Louisiana, yeah. They did a really good job. I met the head coach. I watched them. I went to the meetings. I seen everything. Great facility. I actually committed over there. So I was like, man, I'm coming here. I made my mind up. Me and my family like, yeah, this is a good situation. Because the way they were talking, it was a good situation. So I was like, my family was like, well, you still got to go to LSU. And I was like, Ma, I know, but I want to go to Auburn. So we set up the visit to LSU. We come here, and it was just amazing. Like the facility, the coaching staff, it's like a family atmosphere. So when I came here, I'm like, when I first got there, I had it on my mind already that I'm going to Auburn. So I was like, man, I don't care. I'm just here. But then later on, the days go by, we had meetings. We was just talking to all the coaches, like seeing different things that they were saying to me. My family liked what they were saying. It could be a good situation. The receiver room is stacked. I'm going to have to fight for my spot. I got Keyshawn, Brian Thomas, Malik, Jack Betch, everybody. We got a lot of receivers in there, so I'm not just going to come in there and be that guy. Mm-hmm. I got to really work for my spot. So that's something I'm willing to do. I want to be that. I want to take that next step in my career and see what I could do from there.
What relationship stood out to you in recruiting from LSU? What was one of the relationships that you formed in recruiting that you said, man, it would be cool to play here?
When I met with all the receivers, there was like, because Coach Carter was be able to, he stayed, so they was telling me how real Coach Carter is, and I could like really feel his energy. And one other thing that really made me come here was Jordan. Jordan had a really
Jordan Arsenault.
Jordan Arsenault, yeah, he had
Wow.
a really big deal in my
Recruiting.
in my recruiting. So
Wow, that's cool. Can you give an idea like so a lot of people don't know who Jordan Arsenault is. They only know like who Cortez Hankton is and Frank Wilson and Brian Kelly, but like Arsenault is one of these guys like behind the scenes in recruiting that you may not know. He's on social media, but he's on not, social media. He's definitely on social media, but if you think LSU football recruiting, you don't think Jordan Arsenault. You hear just one of the biggest recruits that LSU gets in the offseason saying what was a relationship that stood out, and he mentioned Arsenault's name. Tell like what are some of the things that he does in recruiting?
Jordan does a really good job at what he does. He's a man of his word. I can call Jordan for anything. He gonna be there. It's always been like that. Jordan's really good, like a really cool, nice guy.
Yeah.
Loyal.
I hear you're like one of the top picks when y'all play pickup basketball.
Yeah, you know that. That's,
I know.
yeah. I'm the best. I'm the best in football, everything. Like,
well, Will Wade told me if you were 2 inches taller, you'd be a pro.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Did you think about playing? How close were you to playing basketball out of high school? How heavily were you recruited?
Like I didn't have like LSU or nothing like that. I had like UNO Nichols.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. So like after that, so I'm about to tell you my whole story that why I stopped playing basketball. Yeah. So my freshman and sophomore year, I didn't play football. I was just playing basketball. So my junior year came. So after this is what like got my head on straight. So my junior year, December, we're playing basketball, and then at the end of December, the report cards come out. So when the report cards come out, couldn't play no more. So after that, I just started focusing on football. I got in Jeremiah Gray.
Yep.
He saved my life, him and Turk. So I started working with those guys instantly. So I worked out with Cam Mula. His name is Turk. We call him Turk. So I started working out with him every day. He came get me sometimes because we went right up the park. So, like, every day we constantly getting it in, nonstop. So then my junior year comes. My junior year I was garbage for football. So, like, I was...
Like, when you say garbage, what do you mean garbage?
Garbage.
Like you couldn't catch the ball, or you just had bad numbers?
I couldn't catch the ball. So,
really?
Yeah, I think I had,
Did you ever play football before that, or was that your first?
Yeah, like
a Pee-wee or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, my junior year, I did awful. So that's when basketball season came. So I started playing basketball, but then I fell off. So I'm like, man, I got to do something.
Yeah. I'm screwing up.
Yeah, like I'm screwing up. Like I got to pick it up. Like I started doing stupid stuff, like not going to school, stuff like that. So I talked to Jeremiah Gray, and he was like, I still believe in you, because I was at a basketball game watching my team play. So I walked in the building, got a hood on, mask on my face, nobody could see me. So he called me over there. He was like, I still believe in you. And he looked me in my eyes and said that. So when he said that, something just clicked.
Yep. Oh, I love that.
So right after that, the next day I called Turk. I'm like, man, we got to get it in. It's time to go. So after that, it just took off from there. So my senior year, I went for like 800 yards, 73 catches, with like 20 touchdowns. I went crazy my senior year.
Gosh.
Became a 4-star, and just took off from there.
Did you go to LSU? Did you visit LSU in that process?
Yeah, I went to like 2 of their camps, something like that. Yeah.
That's an incredible story, bro. You should be proud of that. Yeah. Kyren Lacy joining us here, a native of Thibodaux and now playing for LSU football. What did you learn about Brian Kelly in recruiting?
Brian Kelly is awesome. You could tell he's from up north. Yeah, but he's cool. Guy you could be around every day.
What has this offseason been like? Have you been working with some of these quarterbacks? Have you been going through the process? What's kind of leading up to spring been like for you? Because you've been on campus for a while.
Yes, sir, since January.
Yeah, right at the beginning of the season. Huh? Maybe right at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, the quarterbacks we throw every now and then. I've been getting on them a lot more because we don't throw a lot. So when I get on them, they think like they sometimes they come up with an excuse like, oh, my arm hurt. But I come from a winning team, so I know what it looks like to win. Because I only lost 2 college games in my career, so I know what it's like to win. And sometimes I just get on them because I feel like we need to do a little bit more extra to do like they think just the prescribed work is going to be enough. Yeah. We need to do extra. Like I shouldn't have to push someone to want to do extra. You got to do it on your own.
Kyren Lacy, I'm falling in love with you. Jesus. Kyren Lacy joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show, LSU wide receiver, going into his first year. Got 3 years left to play. You mentioned your time at UL. We love Billy Napier. We had a great relationship with him on this show. And he would come on and you could hear the principles, the standards, the things that he was building his program on. What was it like to play for him? And was there any, did Florida show you a lot of love? I'd imagine that he was probably blowing you up.
Coach Billy Napier did an amazing job. He helped me. He changed my life. He really believed in me in high school when nobody else did, because in high school, I was below the standard. Yeah. I didn't really make the cut, but he still believed in me, and he helped me. He set up a plan for me. That's why I stayed at UL, because he set up a plan for me. Him, Coach Leger, Coach Dez, Coach Luke, they actually helped me get where I am today. So that's why I respect those guys, and I always respect those guys because those guys helped me get to where I'm at today.
Well said, man. That had to be a great experience playing at UL over the last couple of seasons, because the program has been amazing. Over the last 2 years at UL, Kyren has appeared in 25 games in 2 years. He's caught 50 balls, just under 700 yards, and 10 touchdowns in the last 2 seasons playing for the Cajuns. What does NIL mean? We have a relationship with Gordon. He supports our show. He comes on our show and talks NIL. We appreciate his point of view. I think he has a bad rap. I think that people misunderstand Gordon. I think you see him on the billboard, you see him on commercials. Everybody says, "Wow!" But then he went through this NIL process, and the first one was Kayshawn. Really, it was Alexis Morris, basketball player. But then the one that made the wave was Kayshawn, because there was talk of Kayshawn maybe leaving here and going to like Alabama or Texas or I mean, like which would have been just devastating for everybody. And Gordon really stepped up and was able to make a deal with Kayshawn from an NIL standpoint, which kind of opened up the I don't want to say the floodgates to Gordon, but really kind of opened up his eyes, it seemed like, to a different business model. And you were one of the guys that was featured on the Super Bowl commercials and was one of the guys that he was signing in the transfer portal. What has NIL been like? Because your first 2 years in college, you couldn't do any of this type of business. Now you can, and you're signed with one of the biggest brands in the state in Gordon McKernan's law firm. What has this process been like?
It has been amazing. Like, with Gordon, it's not even about the money, because Gordon is a really awesome guy, somebody you could be around. Gordon, and he's doing a fantastic job with what he's doing with the NIL. He helped me. He helped a couple of my other friends. Like, just being around Gordon is just amazing. Like, he's so powerful. Yeah. Like, you can learn a lot of new things from him. Ramsey Bradford, he's cool.
Yeah, Ramsey Barfield.
Yeah, Barfield. Yeah, Barfield. Yeah, he's cool. It's just family atmosphere. That's the only thing I preach on, and I really feel that from them.
You got to, because the commercials put off that vibe. But what is that vibe like in the locker room? Like that was one of the things of NIL where people were like, I wonder what it's going to be like when Kayshawn's making X, and Brian Thomas is saying, "What about me?" You know what I mean? Like, how does that dynamic work? And then you kind of look up, and all of y'all have deals. Everybody's got something, right?
Right. In the locker room, you don't really hear too much about it. Everyone is rooting for each other. Everyone is hoping that everyone gets an NIL deal. Mm-hmm. So that's what I hear in the locker room. I haven't heard anyone hating or anything like that.
What do you anticipate your team to be like this year?
I want to win the national championship. I know what it takes. We just got to put in a lot more work. Just can't just be regular. We just got to put in extra work.
Because I think the feeling around LSU was when we watched them play in the bowl game, people were like, oh, shit, they're going to struggle to have players next year. And then what Brian Kelly was able to do in the short term of signing 15 recruits, which there are a lot of high-end players in those 15 guys, and then bringing in the 15 transfers, which you were a part of, really kind of restored some confidence back to being able to be competitive this year. So somebody from within, you see that too, right? I mean, you see that.
Coach Kelly took advantage of the transfer portal this offseason. He did a really great job with that. He got me, Makai, from UL. I wish we would have got Sabo too, but that's another story for another day. But he did a really good job in the recruiting prospect. He took advantage of the transfer portal.
Tell me about Jacob Flint, the strength coach. Because look, awesome. You probably, Tommy Moffitt was like, he was like a face of LSU. I mean, he wasn't even a face of football. He was like a face of the school. Been here for 20 years, national championships. All the ex-players loved him. That was one of the biggest and toughest turnovers for LSU that they've experienced in a long time. And that's a tough position to replace. Now, you come in here as a fresh face and don't really know what the past was like. What's your first impressions of Flint, and what's it been like to work out with him?
He loves to work out. So he's he has a lot of energy. I like that. I need that. He likes to talk. I like to talk too. He really knows what he's doing. So the first week, the first month, couple weeks in, I was working out by myself. So he kind of told me cool down. We're
chill out, bro.
Yeah, chill out. We're trying to lay the foundation. I'm trying to lay the foundation. So I just stopped working, putting in extra work. So he just came up to me and was like, just cool down.
Yeah, we're going to get there.
We're going to get there. So I see what he was talking about. So now we're starting to get back to it, catching jugs more, being on the field, working on releases and stuff. And I kind of got Malik and Jack with me now. So we've been doing that. We caught 400-plus balls yesterday.
Wow.
So we're just going to keep that. We just got to stay consistent.
I know Kay's still recovering, Keyshawn Butte, from his injury last year with the Achilles. What can you learn from a player like him? What's the respect on a player like him? I really do consider him the best player in the sport this year. I think he'll be the top wide receiver drafted.
I believe that too.
Next spring. As somebody who is a peer and shares a room with him, what's your relationship like with him, and what can you learn from a player like him?
Well, when I first got here, Keyshawn put me on this wing. He was like, bro, because after the first workout, he was like,
you a dog.
Yeah, so after that,
right.
We got one.
So we went eat out at Raoul's, got to know him a little bit more.
Shout out.
Juicy.
Yeah, look at everybody's head bouncing up over here.
Yeah, we went to Raoul's. We've been playing the game a lot. We've been building that bond.
Yeah.
He's somebody you want to be around every day. You can learn new things from him, and he can learn new things from me. So it's hand in hand. We can help each other.
Are you wearing number 2?
Yes, sir. I hope so.
Wow. I mean, that Uno and Deuce, that Uno Deuce matchup at wide receiver for LSU
I
is
don't know.
special.
He put out a tweet that said that had a little 7 on there with Keyshawn, so I don't know if he's trying to break news over there. Drop a little teaser for the boys.
I mean, Keyshawn feels like 7.
That's what I'm saying.
You know
But
what I mean?
He should be 7. He deserves it.
Yeah. But he looks good in 1.
Look at one for wide receivers.
What do you know?
What
What do you know about Jaden Daniels, the transfer from Arizona State?
I'm ready to work with him. I've been texting him last week. I actually talked to him. He came in yesterday. He watched his workout. Pretty nice guy, cool, quiet.
Yeah.
I know he's ready to work, so whenever he's ready, I told him I'm ready.
What about your position coach, Cortez Sancton? I think he's known from being a recruiter, but I think when people get to know him, you realize this cat can coach.
Yeah, Coach Sancton coach. He's actually a cool guy, laid back. He knows what he's talking about. He's about his business. Everything is the standard with him. He's a cool guy.
What is it like to play wide receiver at LSU? Do you think, when you're in that room, I know that they've got the figures on the wall like Beckham and Landry and Jarvis and Jamar and everybody that's come through there. What's it like to be in that frat? What's it like to be in that fraternity?
It's just amazing because last year, I swear to God, I was passing by on the bridge and I looked at the stadium, and I'm like, man, I know I could play there. Damn. So I started crying.
Come on.
As I'm on the bridge, and I'm like, I could play there. I know I could play there. So the next thing you know, got the LSU offer, and it's crazy because the greats before, like Jamar, Justin Jefferson, Odell, Jarvis, like I could be the next one, Keyshawn.
Yeah.
Like I could be the next one. So that's my approach. Like it still feels crazy because I walk in there and I just see LSU everywhere. Like that is amazing. Like to see that every day. Like it really hit me like last week that I really go to LSU. So we're working out, boom. I look on the shirts, everybody got LSU, so I'm just looking like I really go to LSU. Like it's an amazing feeling.
What a cool story, bro. You got cool stories, man. Like, I mean, you can feel something's working through you. People like you meet like in high school that straighten you up when you're feeling like you're down and out and get you back on track. And, I mean, not everybody just shows up for their senior year and catches 70 balls and 20 touchdowns, bro. You know what I mean? Like, congratulations, driving by LSU and crying, thinking you can play there and now having a chance to play, play opposite Kayshon Boutte in the opener against Florida State. Go get it, bro. Go get it. All right, so give me the starting five on the football team in the pickup game. I've heard unanimously that you're the number one pick.
Yeah.
After you, who's going off the board?
I really don't know. Oh
gosh.
I never played with.
Okay, so y'all haven't played yet. Okay, this is all reputation.
Yeah.
Wow. BJ Ojolari told me that you were a player.
Yeah, I'm a player. I'm a player now.
Bro. I love you, man. This is great. Kyron, man, this is cool. I'm glad. Look, open invite. We are a part of the Gordon McKernan family together as he supports our show, and I know that he's done a great stuff for you in the NIL space and working with Alex and Maggie and everybody over there, and Ramsey is very easy. So anytime you would like to get over here and use this platform to tell your story, you got great stories. But through the off season of the development and get ready for the season, we would love to have you back, man.
Yes, sir. I'll come back anytime.
Yep, great to see you, man. Thank you. There's Kyren Lacy from LSU, native of Thibodaux, as he transferred over from UL. Great conversation brought to you by our friends over at Edward Jones, Daniel Newman. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com is where you can find him online. Email him over there. If you've got any financial advice, if you're looking for financial advice, Daniel Newman is the guy today to take care of that for you. If you're looking for investment strategy, help with your 401k, any help with your finances, get in touch with Daniel Newman. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. Phone number's easy, 225-261-8262. 225-261-8262 is the phone number. When we come back, we'll close it out. Tiger Trivia Tuesday as we get out of here on this Tuesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. A lot of love for you, Kyron, inside of our chat, man. We got 300 people watching right now with a lot of people talking about how they can't wait to watch you play. Aaron Adams, great kid. Glad he is representing LSU. John Smithsonian, fascinating to listen to him tell stories. The Bakers, great young man. Cody Boudreaux, good interview with Kyron. So you got the state behind you, bro. Go accomplish everything. Kyren Lacy representing Gordon McKernan this morning in LSU football here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We'll be back. Close it out here on this Tuesday edition. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU, bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU, bluewater.com. Do you have questions about your finances? Are you looking for recommendations from a skilled financial advisor? Get in touch with our friend Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones. You can find him easily by logging online and shooting him an email at daniel.newman at edwardjones.com. That is daniel.newman at edwardjones.com. Whether it is help with your 401k or just fiscal advice heading into the new season, get in touch with Daniel today. Best way to do it? Email him, daniel.newman at edwardjones.com. He's our experienced financial advisor. Let him be yours, daniel.newman at edwardjones.com.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Welcome back here to this Tuesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. Good stuff today. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. Dr. Caparato in the first hour giving us a weather report. Doesn't seem like it's going to be good after lunch today, so make sure you are planning and preparing for whatever South Louisiana is going to deliver. Maybe some tornadoes coming in, so heads up there.
And hail.
We also talked to Stacy Hollowell as his Loyola Wolfpack basketball team is playing for an NAIA national championship tonight over in Kansas City. Good luck to Coach Stacy and the crew. We talked to Jeff Duncan about New Orleans sports, the Saints, Jameis Winston re-inking with New Orleans, what's going on with the Pelicans and the crew. And then there, Kyren Lacy. What a cool storyteller and somebody to pull for, man. As riding across the Mississippi Bridge on his way back from Lafayette last year, looking across and seeing Tiger Stadium and being brought to tears, thinking and knowing that he could play there and now having a chance to start on LSU's offense or at least get in there and play. He's got 3 years left to play, which is pretty incredible to think about. He's was a 2-year starter at UL, played his freshman and sophomore year, and now still has 3 to play here at LSU. That was cool stuff. We appreciate our friends over at Gordon McKernan and their law office for helping us out, set up those interviews. As tomorrow, Keyshawn Butte will be here, as Kay will be here representing G as well. All right, every Tuesday we do our trivia segment. Stewie, what do we have this week? How are we looking for our Tiger Tuesday trivia here on the Culotta Show?
Who held the LSU record for passing touchdowns in a game before Joe Burrow?
Rohan?
No.
Oh, he giving you options. He has Matt Flynn, Herb Tyler, Zach Mettenberger, or Rohan Davey.
Wait.
Hold on.
There's choices on there.
Okay, all right. Everybody calm down. Calm down. Who held the LSU passing record for touchdowns in a game before Joe Burrow? Mettenberger? No. Flynn. I'm trying to think when Flynn. So Joey threw 6 versus Vandy because he was counting them out to the sideline. That's right. Y'all want to keep blitzing me, huh? And then so Herb Tyler. I'm not gonna go with Herb.
I like those gold jerseys though.
Yeah, they were sick. I mean, it's gotta be Rowe. It's not Rowe. Matuk says Flynn. Final answer?
Matuk's right.
Bitch.
There you go.
Damn. What
How
game?
many? What number? Yeah,
Where is that? I'm trying to think. When did he throw 5 touchdowns?
Mettenberger.
No. This is Flynn, right?
Oh, Flynn.
Who's the winner?
Matt Flynn is the answer.
Okay. So that would be 5 touchdowns.
I'm sorry. I am wrong. I was looking at the wrong name. It's not Flynn. It is Zach Mettenberger.
I'm so confused.
It was against
now.
UAB. It was 5 touchdowns against UAB.
So it's not Flynn.
It's not Flynn. It's Mettenberger. It was
You're not a
Stewie.
bitch.
Look, I was my eyes
What
are
do you think this is Saturday?
my eyes are all over the place right
Snap
now.
out
You're
of it.
still not right.
He's still in his
3 days
DMs.
later.
Sorry, guys.
Katie, read the trivia.
Sorry, guys.
All right, what do you got next?
All right. Who threw the longest non-scoring pass in LSU history? The choices are Matt Malk, Jamie Howard, Anthony Jennings, Steve Ensminger.
I remember Anthony Jennings hitting Traven Durrell for like a 90-yard touchdown. It had to be. Yeah, I mean, that pass against Arkansas, that pop up he threw to I mean, that was Traven around too.
Yeah.
God, this feels like Jamie Howard or Steve Ensminger. I'm going Jamie Howard. Final answer. Who you got, Mock? Who you got, Matuk? Ensminger. Final answer. Who you got, Lloyd?
Matt Mock.
Matt Mock. Who you got, Katie?
Not me too, Matt Mock.
Matt Mock.
Mikey's right again.
Mike, what you got over there, bro? What's that computer open to?
He's over there Googling it.
Ensminger?
It's Ensminger.
Yeah, we need. Now I want to go back and find the stats.
Oh, it's Ensminger?
I want to find when Flynn threw 5.
You mean Medberger?
I'm sorry. Jeez.
UAB.
Oh man,
UAB game.
UAB.
I'm never
Is that
gonna.
the
How
same
am I ever
game?
gonna learn?
That Odell ran the kickback.
Yes.
I think it
field
was.
goal? Do you know that Les put him back there to block it, not
Yes.
to catch it?
Yes. Yes.
Such a less move.
Oh, well, it's illegal to do that.
Right.
And he didn't know. Yeah,
To
he
jump
put it
up
back there.
at the crossbar, block it. No. But I mean, if he misses it, you can like what Odell
Should
did.
have put it back
you
there to
know?
return it.
Yeah, right. Like the story goes, Odell's like running towards the sideline, and Les was like, "I didn't even know we could do that."
The ball's live.
Cool, Coach. We got the #1 play on SportsCenter's top 10. What's next?
We got a little baseball today.
Let's go, Mikey.
Who was on third base when Warren Morris hit the walk-off against Miami?
That is a tough one. That's a tough one because it's a very like low-key name, and he was the opening batter of the inning.
Well, who are the choices?
They don't. They can give it choices.
What?
No choices.
It's just an answer.
How can you not have choices?
Hang on. I'm looking into the chat here.
Who's the shortstop for Miami that year?
The shortstop, Cora.
Cora.
Crying, face down.
Pitcher was an All-American. Yeah, he was.
Who
Who is it?
Morrison?
The pitcher?
Yeah, David Morrison was the pitcher.
Morrison, right?
Morrison's the pitcher.
No, I thought you do the answers.
What's the guy that does the hitting at over there at track? What he went on first? Bernhardt? No, it wasn't Cressy. Yeah.
I don't know. Who it was.
Who was the batter before Warren Morris?
Who was on third base?
Who was the batter before Warren? Because he
Tim Lanier struck out.
So you can work backwards from there if you know the lineup.
Because Warren Morris was the 9th batter.
Yeah.
He was the 9th batter.
So it would be somebody that was batted either at least, 7th?
Who is it, Stewie? Fuck.
I don't
Brad
understand
Wilson.
why we're
Brad Wilson.
Yeah. Why no choices?
I don't know.
I know you didn't write them.
Brad Wilson.
Brad Wilson. Did not know that.
So nobody in here would have guessed that? Like you
No.
would have died before you knew that answer?
No, we could have been here all day.
Okay.
We could have been here all day.
What former LSU All-American became a congressman?
Jesus, Stewie. What is it, the fucking final?
Look, man. Sorry, guys.
I didn't study last night.
Yes, All-American. LSU All-American who became football.
Congressman.
You got a year?
John Stefanski.
Don't have a year. Sorry, guys. Look,
No
Jack
other-
sends me the answers,
these
but
are
he
from-
doesn't.
Jack.
I don't get choices on this.
This is a Northerner using the LSU trivia books. Maybe he doesn't know how to format it for LSU people. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, he's grilling us.
Yeah, like he doesn't know what ones we're supposed
Jesus.
to know.
Thought we were just getting the syllabus today. I don't know. Who is it, Stewie?
Tommy Casanova.
Oh, wow. Did you really? Oh, that's your people, too, bro.
My doctor.
God.
Oh my God! Why didn't you say
I
it?
was going to say, I was like, just.
He was a congressman?
I was just an eye doctor.
I thought he was just an eye doctor.
I thought it was just a
Stand up
football
at
player.
Acadiana. Stand up at Acadiana. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's where all the politicians come from, Crowley.
Yeah, why is that?
I'm
What are you
too
doing
pissed.
over there?
All right, what we got next?
Former LSU running back Rondell Mealy was drafted by what NFL
Green Bay
team?
Packers, final answer. Jesus, next one.
Good in the gold, too,
Finally. Throw an easy one in here somewhere.
Name all the retired numbers in the PMAC.
What?
That is not an.
Dude,
that
you're
is
fired,
not-
bro. Get the hell out of here.
Stop
All
it.
right. I got the basketball ones. Bob
It's
Pettit,
basketball,
Pete
yeah.
Maravich, Shaquille O'Neal, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, Bob Pettit 50, Pistol Pete 23, Shaq 33, and Mahmoud 35, Rudy Macklin 41. He's the outlier of them. And then Sylvia fouls Simone Augustus 33 and 54?
No.
52. 51.
It was something like that.
54, final answer.
I'm gonna guess this was only men's basketball. He only gave me 23 Pistol Pete. I don't know why it's 23. You said what number did you say?
That's right.
23. Shaq 33.
Yep. Mahmoud 35.
And Rudy Macklin 40.
41. Bob Pettit.
He didn't get Bob Pettit.
He didn't get
Bob
Bob
Pettit,
Pettit.
50.
This
I don't
is
trust this trivia. Throw it away. This
is
trivia doesn't
Jack.
exist.
This is not Stu's questions.
He's backing out. But Jack. Yeah, right. Wasn't me. Wasn't me.
My fault.
Wasn't me.
My fault, guys.
Any more?
And I love that
that's
Jack's
what I'm
not,
saying.
Jack's not here.
Yeah,
so
Jack.
Jack's
I
getting
know.
He
shit.
usually
laughing.
walks in right now, too.
He's
might
out there laughing in
We
his
might
car.
extend the show a couple of minutes here and see if
Getting
Jack, we can
breakfast.
catch Jack walking in.
You son of a bitch,
Do you
Jack.
not know about
Yeah.
Bob Pettit? Jack.
Jack.
He was questioned whether Pistol Pete was 23.
Is that all of them?
That was all
That's
of
it? Okay.
Stewie, find a ride home.
He'll bring, he's good at that.
He has his own car. What do you-
I'm very good at finding ride home.
Has anybody seen this? Look, man, I'm not trying to make light of anything weather because I just...
We already made light of the weather.
Okay, but there is a piece of video that has come out of the state of Texas of a truck driving down a highway into a tornado that has to be...
Awesome.
It's incredible.
Wait,
It
it's
is
like happening now?
no.
It happened in this
no.
weather?
It happened
tornado.
yesterday.
So was it yesterday? See, that was the debate.
So, do you think this is fake?
No, it's real. But
Okay.
I think it happened from a storm, not yesterday, but
Oh, like a while back.
Okay, let me see. This is Brian M. Finger, whose Twitter account we're on. And this is a post from yesterday at 10:09 p.m. Look at that truck. Look at that truck sliding on its side and just get flipped back over and just keep like moving down the street.
Tornadoes are terrifying.
Look at that electricity.
Look at
over
that!
there.
Look at that truck!
Oh my gosh.
Look at that truck just spinning. Now watch it flips back over. And he just drives out
He
of
just keeps
there.
going.
Waits for the dust to settle,
Oh.
and he's like,
So we know this isn't from
"Okay,
yesterday.
I'm all good."
oh, I don't know.
Well, no, we don't
don't
not
know.
know. It was posted yesterday, but it says the caption on, and this is from Brian M. Finger's Twitter account at Brian M. Finger. OMG, just going through my video. This is a story about a red truck and a tornado. I cannot believe they just drove away like that. So I think that like he is like actually like filming the tornado,
Yeah.
just filming it, and he went back and sat
Yeah.
down and he was like, "Holy shit!
That truck was
Look
in
at
the
that
tornado.
truck just slid on its side and got up and drove away."
What a story for that guy.
I mean, dude, could you imagine being relief
No.
medded up in that truck? I mean, just like, first off, I'm
Yeah.
driving at a tornado.
Right.
Second off, the tornado just picked me up and put me on my side. Now it's got me back on all four wheels, and I'm just getting the hell out of here.
What do you even
You know what I
do?
mean? Like, what do you do when you show up to the office? Like, what'd you eat for lunch?
I'm taking the day off.
Yeah, you think?
Thank God. Because you can see he like sits there for a second.
Well,
Just
yeah.
in the car, he's like,
Oh my God.
I guess I'll just keep driving. I'll start driving again.
Yeah, you got to
Like,
get out of it.
oh,
I mean,
we're
he's
all
still
good.
in it.
we're all
In
good.
the twister.
Oh my God,
It is
man.
I mean, that's
unbelievable.
scary. Well,
That's a hell of, you know what that is, though? That's a hell of a commercial for Chevrolet.
Absolutely.
is it a Chevrolet?
I mean, that's got to be a Go Chevy, huh?
oh my
is that a Go
gosh.
Chevy?
I don't
Well,
know.
he's driving, and then he stops driving. He's like, I'm
Look
giving
at the
up. I
shit
don't know.
blowing up around it.
electricity
Oh
over there.
my God, dude.
Yes.
Look at that truck. It looks like a, I mean, it looks like a, just,
Tips him back over.
Man, that is so frightening.
Just outside of Uncle Earl's. Patrick's Day.
there's Stewie on Saturday.
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah, I think it's a Chevy.
Look at this dude just gonna take it off, dude.
It's a Chevy.
I love that.
An old one.
Going home.
That's how I got home right there.
That's amazing.
Stewie's ride home.
That's amazing. I know. I kind of feel like I feel bad that we've made so much light of the weather. Like, what if it
we
really
get
does
struck
get
down?
bad? Yeah, yeah. What if we get struck down? What if that's us later driving, thinking of our kids?
I don't believe in tornadoes.
No, that wasn't
awesome.
real.
All right, I guess Jack's not showing up
I
here.
guess he's out there waiting for us
does,
to be
yeah,
done.
right.
He's like, I'm not going in.
All right, have a good day. Hit that like button, share button, comment button. We appreciate you being here on this Tuesday morning. Stay safe in the weather, as we are a big weather crowd here, and we want to make sure that everybody's precautioned out there. Nobody wants to get hurt in the weather.
Yeah, if you get flipped, just stay in your car. It'll flip right back over.
Yeah.
You're
Just drive
perfectly
away.
fine. Don't they say the car is the safest place for a tornado?
I've never heard that because
or like a storm?
Lightning because of the
Lightning,
rubber
rubber.
tires, apparently. But I think you're supposed to get in a ditch if a tornado comes. Like you pull over and you get down in a ditch.
God, see, I wouldn't do that.
I totaled a car in hail in a tornado. Drove through a car in a tornado and it got totaled by hail.
Oh my God, how frightening!
Going to cover Brandon Harris's spring football game.
Jeez.
How about that, Coach?
Wait, why
Total.
were they still having the game? Was it? I guess
Yeah.
outdoor?
Because fucking your
My guy?
No, your highway that cuts up North Louisiana that you have to take 49 North.
Oh,
It was just a patch.
Hell yes.
You know what I mean? That you drive through. It looks like a damn insane asylum there for 3 of the 4 hour drive. Somewhere along that 3 hour stretch in between, Natchitoches and Colfax. Dude, I mean, it was sunshine. It was like Saturday. It was a beautiful day. Windows down. That morning, I had gotten my cast removed. I tore my Achilles. Dr. Bankston tells me, he goes, Culotta, you're about a week away. He said, but I'll get you out of this cast because it was like starting to get hot in spring and it was always sweating and you had to do the ruler down there and scratch it all the time. It was the worst, dude. So I was like, Doc, you got to get this thing off. He said, you probably should use another week in the cast, but I'll take it off if you can stay off of it. Done. Just get this thing off of me. He slices the cast off. I leave from Dr. Bankston's office on Bluebonnet, and Gordy Rush has got me on a fool's mission going to cover Brandon Harris's spring game in Bossier.
That's right.
That afternoon because Steve Ensminger... not Steve Ensminger. Cam Cameron had just gotten the job at LSU, and he was going to watch Harris's spring game. And I was going to go cover it on the radio. I was going to call the game on the radio play-by-play. That's what I was going to do. We had worked it out. So
That's if it lets you know what moves the needle here.
Right,
It's
exactly.
like, cover
Exactly.
LSU,
LSU
is so
spring
bad at quarterback.
football, yes.
There's a 4-star that's finally committed here. You go to a spring game and you go watch him.
that day. I mean, dude,
And call the
perfect.
game.
I'm fired up. Got the cast
Fired
is
up.
the cast is off. Absolutely, relief bedding. I mean, we're rolling cast off, celebrating
You do love a
49
road
North.
trip.
Love a road trip, especially 49 North. Nobody's on the road. It's all good. Bright and
75.
sunshiny day. You go 90.
Yeah.
You can go 90. And then, Coach, out of nowhere, the sky is like in front of us is just like moving, turning black, and just like, and I'll never forget, I was driving next to a tow truck, and he and I are kind of like going down 49, and it's still like bright. I mean, I got windows down, bro. And I'm like looking at him, and he's kind of like,
Y'all are having a moment.
I'm like, dude, what is this? And I mean, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm going through it. This just looks like a storm. You know what I mean? And we got into the middle of this storm, and you could not see 10 feet in front of you. You couldn't. I mean, it was pitch black. The headlights were doing nothing into this thing. And so I didn't even know, I was like kind of almost like confused what side of the road I was on. You know what I mean? And on 49 North, there's those fall offs on the side. You know what I mean? I'm like, shit, man. So I just kind of like pull over, and I'm in like, come to find out, like my ass is like hanging into the interstate, and like the front is on the shoulder. And then Coach, out of nowhere, it starts hailing where it sounds like somebody is standing on top of my car with an AK-47.
That's so scary.
It sounds like somebody is lighting me up.
Did
and
it
I
break
mean,
your windows or crack them?
it started to. So I'm sitting in the front seat, and I'm and it's like, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, and then it starts getting heavier, and they like the hail drops that start getting bigger, and I'm kind of like, what is going on? You know what I mean? Like, am I about to die? I'm like yelling out loud. Am I about to die right here? Like,
What have I
gonna
done,
die? And
Lord?
Coach, like out of nowhere, like the windshield starts to spider web.
Oh, that is so freaky.
And then the water starts to come in like from the top and is like rolling down the front. And I turn and jump off my Achilles. And I don't know why, but I just jump into the back seat, and I'm laying like in the back seat. and I'm like, hold my, I'm like, I think I just ripped it again. Because I like jumped off of my leg to jump into the back seat. And I'm like, oh my God. I said, they're going to find me on the side of 49 with my Achilles torn again. And Bankston's going to do the damn He's gonna do. What do they do when they take you to the dead people?
autopsy.
Yeah, they're gonna do the autopsy. He's gonna be like, son of a bitch, tore his Achilles again.
How did he tear his Achilles in a car in a
Right.
hailstorm?
But
What
dude,
an autopsy.
and like it was like 4 minutes felt like a lifetime. You know what I mean? So I'm like laying in the back seat and there's still like AKing on my head. And I'm like, what am I gonna do back here? Just die back here?
Ain't got shit
Yeah, right.
on me.
Yeah, right. Dude, so I'm like, I opened the door to like think like,
making all
what
sorts of
Why?
is dude? Because I don't know what's going on.
Don't go out there.
Yeah, but I just want to see like what is happening. And I open up the door and like this hail ball like falls like on the ground right there. And I'm like,
It could have knocked you out.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I didn't stick my head out. I like opened the door like this and it like came like, and I'm like, shut the door. I'm like, holy shit. And then like the spider's windshield's cracked. And I'm like in that no man's land. I'm like in between Natchitoches and Shreveport.
Right, you can find like a bridge to get under.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm in like wide open space. And so like I call back to the radio station and I'm like, Gordy, I'm like, I'm fucked. I'm going to die. I'm like screaming, like, I'm going to die, bro. I'm going to die. He's like, where are you? And he's like, what? Chill out. What? I'm like, no, dude, I am going to die, Gordy. I'm telling you. He's like, where are? He's like, I'm on 49. What do you mean? And he hangs up and he calls me back. He's like, dude, you are in some shit. Like he like looked at the weather, you know? He's like, where are you? Like, where are you exactly? I'm like, gee, I got no idea where I'm at. Like, I mean, I'm somewhere in between Natchitoches and Shreveport, but like by this time it's kind of like letting up, you know what I mean? Like, and then out of nowhere, dude, like 5 minutes later, it's sunshine. Just like sunshine. And I get out and look at my car and I'm like, oh my God, dude, it looked like somebody had taken one of those spikes that you put in the golf course where you roll that thing on the greens to aerate them.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just, all of those dents
On your car.
on the hood, the roof, and the trunk of the car. The side was like still good because it was just coming straight down. And I pulled up to the hotel. I didn't make it to Harris's spring game.
hate to hear that.
I pull up to the hotel, and the dudes in the valet, I pull up, dude. I'm driving like Ace Ventura. I've got my head
out the window. Cars beat to shit.
And I pull up, and the dudes like in the valet are like, oh shit! They're like, damn, where the fuck have you been? And I'm like, I drove through that weather that just came through. They were like, good God. And that, like, Shreveport was all screwed up. Like, it was like, it just like rummed through this thing, man. And to this day, man, that was the scariest. That's the scaredest I've ever been in my life. Like, I thought for like a 20, 30 second window, like I really was like, dear God, I am sorry for everything that I've done. I am sorry for the people that I have pissed off. I am going to die on the side of I-49 sitting in the back of this car. And like, I mean, like I called my mom, it was
people.
It was, dude, it was over, man.
Were you in your car or
I was in my car.
Oh,
I was in my car because I wanted a relief med.
of course. What year?
Brandon Harris's senior year. What was he? The class of Leonard Fournette, class of 14.
Trying to see if any of this.
I mean, if you could go
Was
back
there
and
really a
find
hailstorm?
Parkway's spring game, because I think they played somebody. Like if you Parkway spring game, Brandon Harris, that's the day that it happened. That was the day.
Jeez, that's frightening.
Jack's still not here.
He's still
Jack
sitting
just-
out there waiting for you to end.
He texted me.
Little weather excuse
He
there. for
texted
Jackie.
me saying they moved the press conference. I'm like, Jack, you gave me wrong answers, bro. Don't play with me.
I ain't talking to you right now, dude.
Bob Pettit for 100, Jack.
2013?
I guess it would have been the 2013 spring game.
Parkway versus Ash?
I guess because, 2014, they were freshmen, right?
Right?
Fournette and Jamal Adams and Brandon Harris and Malachi Dupree, and that's the class. And so, Harris didn't play his spring game his senior year. This would have been his junior year. So you're right, 2013.
Let's see. What city should I put in?
Probably Natchitoches. I was like 49 North, in between Natchitoches and Bossier.
Severe weather
Ugh.
affects
There it
four-state
is.
region.
Look at that.
Could have been you.
Is that me?
I don't know.
Have a great day. Hit the like and share button.
That's wild.
Ugh. PTSD, bro.
Has to. I wish you'd have been in the ESPN van.
I do too.
Wait, I guess insurance covers that? It's not like a work thing.
Well, yeah.
What kind
my
of car
car
was it? Yeah.
No. They were like, sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Mhm.
Well, that's crappy.
My friends over at Custom Colors did it for some promo. But even they were like, I've never seen anything like this. They were the one that was like, this car is totaled.
Yeah.
They were like, dude, this is a sunk ship.
But then they repaired it?
They repaired the roof and they repaired the hood and the trunk. They said that they had never seen on, the part of your window frame on your car right here. They said this is like this part of your body. It's like the hardest part of your body. They said that it is nearly impossible to dent that. And he said that he had like up to that point, he was like, I had never seen
Oh my God.
dents in that part of a car. Like it was like jagged edges of.
God, I wonder how big the hell was.
Bro, it looked like I'm probably being dramatic in the moment, but when I opened the door and saw that hail ball hit, it felt like it was like a softball.
Jeez.
You know what I mean? It sounded like a softball.
It must have been.
It exploded like a softball. Is that Jack? Joey. No, yeah, you're right.
Jack's not coming, Jordan. We got to give it up.
Joe, what number did Bob Pettit wear at LSU? Number 9.
Number 9.
That's a safe
Number
bet.
9.
That's a safe bet. That's a safe bet. Joe, were you at Guarantee when I took the car up there to Shreveport and came back and all the hail? Do you remember that? You remember that? Do you remember that? Just a fool's mission.
16th.
May 16th.
Yeah, they wrote an article about it.
2013.
Golf ball-sized hail.
There you go.
Knocked down hundreds of trees in Shreveport.
It scared the shit out of a local radio guy from Baton Rouge.
It smelled different.
All right.
Oh.
All right, have a great day. Hit that like button, share button, comment button. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m.
Hopefully, if we're still here.
Somebody's going to have to drive Jordy home after you relive this.
Scariest ever been in my life.
I would imagine.